Oh!
That's right. Fucking got the kid back from basketball game right on time.
Words you never thought you'd hear Max say.
Yeah. Kids and basketball and no death.
Yeah, I didn't kill any of them. It was great.
Nailed it.
Oh, my goodness.
It's good to see you, buddy. We were just getting involved in a heated discussion about Star Wars.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm all about heated discussions about Star Wars.
Let's continue that in just a second, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Three Geeks Podcast. Max is there sporting some lovely vodka. Max, what is the name of that vodka?
This is Rockabella Vodka. It's the coconut mango pineapple version. And if it sounds like a lot of things to you, let me tell you, it's awesome. It's not too many things. I thought it might be too many things when I first tried it, but I'm enjoying some Rockabella and cranberry right here, and we're having a good time.
Yeah, Max and I got interviewing the owner of Rockabella Vodka, and Cheryl. She was awesome. That interview will come out hopefully in the next couple weeks. We had some connection issues, but we are working on getting bottle. Very fancy. Lovely lady. Her story is inspiring. Her husband was a first responder on 9/11, so definitely interview.
Give away the whole thing.
I'm just saying what's in the bio, Max. I'm just saying what's in the bio. We had a bunch of people call off, and it was just going to be me, Max, and Dan, and maybe Scott. Scott's about as reliable as he's available. So we've decided to bring the Scene Snobs on to join us because Casey had so much fun the last time he was on, and him and Max got this bromance going on that I thought, let's bring him in. He can replace John and Mike.
That's coming to a screeching halt today.
I'm excited for hot takes. I mean, I'm stoked. That's what I came in for.
Oh, here we go.
I just want fire, bro. It's Sunday. Get me stoked. You're a little boozed up. I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. Let's get those vibes.
Yeah, I'm greasing the gears here. We'll let the hot takes flow in here in a second.
Let's get to the hot takes right now. Dan and I were wondering, Casey, what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Well, that's a fascinating question. I'm glad you brought that up. I have so many varieties when I think about what my favorite Star Wars movies is. That they all mean so much to me, and there's
only one right answer to this question, Casey.
So really, right now, well, it's a rotation. You see, Max, it's not that easy because as we grow in life, we change.
There's only one
and
right
our perspectives change.
Listen, we're going to have to mute.
So recently, I've actually really come back around onto episode 4, A New Hope. That recently is my Max watch that I absolutely love, that I will watch consistently every day, and there's never a fault within it. So that also leads me to one of my next points, that although that may be one of my personal all-time current favorites, I have to say one of the best overriding stories that ever came out of Star Wars is Attack of the Clones.
Oh, this guy's got jokes. He's funny. I like this guy. We should keep him.
And you see, the reason for that is because there's never been such a large-scale, grandiose Jedi battle.
It was lame. It was lame, though.
No. I'm not agreeing with you.
It was amazing. That you cannot take anything away from that battle. You can say that the love story is crap, which it is.
It is.
There's zero connection. It's difficult to like the Amidala and Anakin storyline. It's difficult because they didn't sell it. What they did sell was a giant fucking arena of Jedi fighting flying things and other droids. It was phenomenal.
I cannot get behind the giant epic war because it's a war between clones and droids. It's the most useless, pointless thing ever because both armies are easily replenishable. Like none of the actual deaths matter. And I mean,
What's the point?
No, the whole thing was pointless.
It's the idea that these two massive armies it's the only way they're going to force themselves into a massive confrontation, the scale of which could take over the galaxy.
And honestly, it makes perfect sense going down the line of why Boba Fett is so important, why so many of the other clone troopers who
Boba Fett was only made important after the fact.
Oh my God. All right. First of all, just because it's rewritten doesn't mean that's not important to the storyline. Secondly, yes, they made clones, and yes, they were made to the point that they can be expendable and we can make more. But guess what? They weren't. They proved that. They went forward, and the Clone Wars TV show, in Star Wars Rebels,
Episode 3.
Rebels is late.
Oh my God!
Rebels was great, man. Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. Rebels is lame. Oh my God!
Rebels is phenomenal.
No.
Rebels totally locks you in. You get to follow Ezra. You get to see Hera.
Ezra is such a lame character. The only person I hate as much or more than Ezra is Ahsoka Tano.
Oh, what?
yeah, that's it.
That's absurd.
They're both just.
So you just don't like Star Wars. You just don't like Star Wars.
I do like Star Wars.
Completely okay, Max. We agree. I don't like your show that you hate Star Wars.
I don't like
that. We're setting it now. I'm not going to let you say it because we know. We already know you hate Star Wars. It's okay. So let's move on to something else.
I mean, Ahsoka Tano, it was so important to have Ahsoka Tano go through her story as a Jedi who watches the fall of one of the most powerful and celebrated Jedi. Like, that's incredibly important in the way she connects with him to see the dark side, to find the dark within him, even expounds and gives us more story to Anakin to make him a better character. And I like them more in the freaking cartoon. They had more charisma in the cartoon than they did on screen for the Amidala Anakin story.
Oh, they did. I agree with that. But Casey, didn't you really like the Clone Wars movie too?
That's what I'm saying, man.
Okay.
The movies was great too. It was all wonderful.
The only animated Star Wars that's worth watching is the Genndy Tartakovsky miniseries between episodes 2 and 3. That's the only Star Wars animation that's worth watching.
See, you know what? We're just going to have to agree to disagree here, Max. I think we're just going to have to reach a point where, although you're wrong,
I think Dan will stand with me here, and I say Genndy did it better.
Genndy did do it better, but it's not the only one. I kind of like Clone Wars. Some of that's all right.
Bam.
No, there are episodes that are good. It's not all bad. I'll give you that.
And then you get Yoda lightsaber battles.
So that's your main take on Star Wars. Then it's like some of the episodes are good. It's not all bad, which means you don't really like Star Wars.
I do like Star Wars. I do like
Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have bits and pieces that you don't like about each story. I understand that, and I'm with you on that 100%. But there's absolutely zero chance to say that all of them are bad. Like, even at the prequels, you have to give the prequels love too.
I like episode 1.
Okay, that's great. What about episode 1 that you love?
Episode 1.
Darth Maul is.
I don't understand it either.
It's Darth Vader. Darth Maul is the best villain since Darth Vader.
That's fine. You can like Darth Maul. There's nothing against that. Okay. He has a great fight scene in that. But then when we say, okay, but we really like the Jedi battle in Attack of the Clones, and you say, no, that's what sucks about it. It's like, what are you talking about?
I didn't say that's what sucks about it. I said that was lame. No, it's because, like, okay, I want to see Jedi doing Jedi stuff. Now, when you put a Jedi in a situation with normal people, they should be like, you should see more. It should be more. When they have the Darth Maul fight, that's the first fight that they had where they're doing crazy things that normal people can't do. And then when you go and then you show them kind of like hacking down droids and you're like, okay, I'm gonna push 5 droids around. It's not the scene that it could have been. Where like if you when again, I'm gonna go back to the Genndy Tartakovsky one. Like they put a Jedi in a situation, and it's like, okay, this dude is a hard ass. Mace Windu versus an army of droids by himself. That is what I want to see. Not like, okay, there's an arena with 17 Jedi in it. It should have been game over. Like there's not even anything. They should have just, okay, everyone force push all the machines down, done, end of story. Like
Max, to be fair, before you showed up, me and Dan were telling them that the prequels were a hot button issue with you. So this is partly a troll.
I understand. They're just trying to push my buttons, but no.
We're not trying to push your buttons. We've come down to it. You hate Star Wars. It's okay.
It's just that, like, whenever they're given the opportunity in a live action Star Wars something, they can't do it. And like, they're gonna kill Darth Maul in the first movie, and then give you this 70-year-old dude that's supposed to have a sword fight later. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like visually, like there's no like, yeah, like a Jedi is supposed to be this super powerful thing, and then like they got 80-year-old men like throwing sticks at each other.
Well, as far as the old man thing goes, let's take a look at the mafia bosses that we've all come to know and love from the 70s and 60s, who were old men because they're the most brutal.
But they're not sword fighting. Okay, you can be a mafia boss because all you got to do is sit down and eat calzones and fucking tell people to shoot other people. Like, they're not trying to have a fucking epic sword battle over here.
But it's also showing that the older men can have an epic sword battle. All right.
Look, if I'm just fucking stuffing my face with prosciutto, then I can be a fucking mob boss. Like, but I can't have a 2-minute lightsaber battle with Ray Park. Okay, like, this is not going to happen.
So Max, you're also an ageist. You hate Star Wars and you're an ageist.
Look, man. Look, no, it's a. Can you do it? If they found a 70-year-old,
I'm insulted.
If Dan could lightsaber battle, then I don't care how old he is. But if he's 70 years old, I mean, like Christopher Lee, great actor. I love his metal. Like, I'm not fucking with Christopher Lee, but that dude was 70 years old. No, I'm not. There's nothing wrong with that. But like, the way they use the Force should be different. He shouldn't get into a lightsaber battle. He should just be like, "Oh, I'm going to stop you and crush you because I'm 70 years old."
Which, I mean, he does. He's the conniving one. I mean, the Palpatine is how old, and he goes through and wrecks house. So you're saying Palpatine wasn't a badass?
I mean, just because he can shoot Force lightning into the sky.
No, it's ridiculous. And when they ask these old men who are not martial artists to do martial arts, it does not look well on screen. That's all I'm saying. It just not translate to anything worth watching. Like, I mean, I shouldn't be able to recreate the lightsaber battle myself.
Okay, then how did you feel about Episode 3's lightsaber battle? We get Obi-Wan Anakin.
The beginning of that fight was awesome. It carries on too long, and they then they start jumping in the lava, and they're not really fighting. It's all just camera tricks, and then they kind of like, and again, they're just. It's like the 70s movie, like when you have Darth Vader fighting Obi-Wan in 1977, it makes sense that how it was choreographed. But when you bring a modern movie and you've already shown that you can have modern fight choreography. How do you take a step back from that then and go back to swords clashing at each other? Now, yeah, Obi-Wan Anakin is a solid fight for the first like 2 minutes. And when they're like standing nose to nose with each other and they're both doing this little whipping around flippy thing, like I'm down for that. And I needed more of that. But like the fight ended pretty much right there. They hop out into the lava and then the fight's over.
Well, yeah, because he's trying to escape because he realized that he wasn't as strong as he thought he was.
Whatever.
He's got
whatever.
the
Like, I'm just saying. Yeah. Once I achieve the high ground, it's all good from there. Like, no. I'm not hearing it. And like the most badass swordsman in all of Jedi history goes out like that. I don't know. I'm not down.
Boys, we do not need a Mortal Kombat match right here on the Three Geeks podcast. But,
yes, we do.
Speak for yourself.
Let's take the time to check out the lovely Mortal Kombat trailer that dropped this week.
It looks stupid.
What?
First learned about this 7 years ago on a mission in Brazil to capture a wanted fugitive.
This is awesome.
When we got there, we could torture our unit in seconds.
I love it.
I like it when the guy gets stabbed with his own blood.
Yeah, that was cool too.
This is what I don't like.
This is obviously going to be the worst part of the movie.
Yeah, and it's going to be most of it.
Reference a great tournament. Champions.
We should have brought back Robin's show.
To fight for something.
Is that the dude from? He's from Last Samurai.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's the angry general dude who doesn't like Tom Cruise.
I doubt many generals really like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Cruise's character in the movie. Nobody likes Tom Cruise.
I was disappointed because we didn't get the techno theme.
I'm not. We need to move past it. You know, you got to move past it.
Technically, you kind of do at the end.
That is awesome!
Yep.
Never thought I'd see somebody get stabbed with their own blood.
Nobody stabs with my own blood. Nobody.
Boo!
No.
I mean, it's definitely going to be pure fan service. It looks like it's got everyone you want.
You fucking beauty.
I'm excited.
Now, what do you want to bet? What do you want to bet that they just showed you all the cool parts and what you're going to go see in the theater is, I got this birthmark that says I'm a dragon, and then it's his whole story for like an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, definitely going to happen.
How long is the movie going to be? Because that'll dictate how much bullshit we have to sit through. I mean, like, if it's only a 90 minute. If it's a 90-minute movie, then we only have to deal with an hour of that shit. And the 30 minutes of cool shit will be 30 whole minutes of cool shit.
Because, I mean, so far, Mortal Kombat is still the best video game movie of all time.
I can't disagree with you. I can't disagree with you.
I would.
I mean, I'll put it up there. I mean, I'll definitely say it's one I can revisit without too much pain.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm guessing you guys haven't seen the Far Cry movie.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know.
I'm glad I didn't know that exists.
Oh, well, now you do, and it is
Now you
awful.
Anthony Bourdain's in
Have
it.
you seen the
Oh, that's cool.
the Italian Assassin's Creed movie? Not the one that was released in theaters, but find it.
I actually did watch
great.
that, and it was pretty decent. I enjoyed the Italian one.
I saw Double Dragon in the theater, in the movie theater. The movie theater we were in, the projector hated that movie so much that it lit on fire.
It was just right.
Oh yeah, just wait.
When you were 5?
I was, I don't know, it came out in 92, so I would have been 10.
Okay.
I'm gonna approach the sixth person in the room. Hi, Scott.
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing, buddy? I felt like you were
down
just kind of sitting there. I was confused.
Well, is this the new house? Are you in the new house?
No, this is just my living room as opposed to my desk.
Season Studio B.
I was hoping.
I wish.
A new geek location.
Still a ways off on that.
Yeah. All right.
So, Casey, if you want to know how to get Scott going on a rant, tell him how much you love new Star Trek.
Oh man, Kelvin Timeline's fantastic. Are you kidding me?
It doesn't work if I know what you're trying to do.
Well, that's no fun. See, I don't know.
Still works on me.
Once again, I still really like them. I do enjoy the Kelvin Timeline movies. I think they're fine. They're fun considering what we had previously. Too. I'm not going to say.
I like Star Wars too.
Exactly.
Max, don't lie to people.
I mean, there would have.
Yeah, we don't need a facade.
No, but like
would have been a better segue.
Sorry, go ahead.
Because Max goes, "Oh yeah, there's only one answer to the best Star Wars movie, and it's going to be it's the Wrath of Khan." See,
that would have been good. That would have been so good.
all day, buddy.
No, but being honest though, like I do find myself hating. Like now that like Star Wars has gone on for so long, I don't like more Star Wars than I do like. That is true.
Now, how did you feel about
you
the
don't
newer
like Star
movies?
Ward?
I do like Star Wars though, huh?
How'd you feel about the newer movies?
Nah, I'm not a fan. Like, there's a lot of things they just didn't do right. Like with the character with Finn, like they don't go into the fact that this dude like broke Stormtrooper mind washing, like, and they could have had a whole deal with that of like like getting like out of a cult pretty much.
I very much
kind of leave it on the floor.
I very much agree with that. They missed that opportunity in 8. I think they really could have explored that a lot more.
In all of them. Like, true. Why him? Why was he able to break it? Why? Like if he would have just been absolutely batshit insane, like they could not control his mind because his mind is so warped, that would have been great. But they just make him kind of this bullshit side fucking character.
But we know why, because they picked a black character and a female character, and they put them in the first movie, and whichever one was more popular was the storyline they were going with, because Disney is all about getting the social justice down.
Oh, I mean, it's like however they did it wrong doesn't matter. They still did it wrong. Like it's like
there was still a perfect amount of room to do both stories. They just
absolutely
one to the side. That's why I can't stand the new ones or Disney for what they're doing.
Because like in the was it the second one where Finn goes off to the casino and all this shit?
Oh, that was terrible.
The whole plot line, that whole plot line was negated. Like it's just like, oh, it actually does. None of this matters. Like in that same movie, like people argue about how like one movie like cut off the other movie. Like I'm like, they did it in the same movie. Like it's
what Rian Johnson did with 8 is he took Finn into a time machine and stuck him into what would have been a sequence in the prequels. Like everything about Finn's storyline in that seemed like it was taken straight from the prequels.
I see very much where they wanted to take this one character and they wanted to show you what the normal ground trooper looked like. I get that they were trying to give you that perspective and give you some idea there. That would have been brilliant. And you're 100% correct. They did not do it with that whole need to escape kind of thing and find the code breaker or whatever his name was. It was a bit unnecessary and was very droning.
Here's why
comparison. And then at the end of it, they throw we're going to shoot this shoot one spaceship into the other spaceship, and all the stuff that you did does not matter. Like but like my whole problem is like they could have had a storyline where Finn is a stormtrooper trying to save all the other stormtroopers, the only person in this Star Wars galaxy who actually cares about stormtroopers, and they're trying to kill him. Like that would have been awesome.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot that would have been awesome in those movies.
But why do that when you can have him running around like a Capri Sun for like 5 minutes and then totally forget about it?
Because Disney came to Rian Johnson and said, "Hey, you're a really talented director and writer. Would you like to do a Star Wars movie?" And he said no. And then they were like, "Well, here's a check." And he goes, "I'm going to the bank."
I would too. I'm not mad at anyone who takes Disney money. Okay, I cannot fault anyone who takes Disney money. I would take it in a heartbeat. I would sell out right now if Disney wanted me to. Okay, like I'm not even gonna get that twisted. I'm not mad at him for it. But like if we're talking about the just the crappiness of the storyline, yeah, like there's a bunch of bullshit in the new movies where it's like you guys just really could have done a lot better. And they have like even if you're gonna like just. You're not original at all. There's so much, like even fan fiction to pull from that's better than what they gave us. Where it's like you could have just ripped off anything, and it would have been better than what you gave us.
To be fair, Casey, the problem started back when they said, "JJ, do you want to do a Star Wars movie?" No, I do not want to do a Star Wars movie.
Here's a check.
JJ, you just have to make one movie, and then Episode 8 director will figure it out from there. You don't even have to plan the whole thing. You just got to come in. You got to throw a lot of stuff into your 7, make everybody excited about Star Wars, and then
look how many zeros is on the check.
And then
zeros.
How much money do I get paid to do that? So I don't have to have a plan. I can just go in and make my movie. I don't even have to talk to Rian Johnson. Absolutely. I mean, who in the world plans a trilogy? You just go in, make your movie, and then Rian Johnson will take the baton and just negate everything you did and make it his own.
Hey,
and then you come back and
see that way over there? That's the decimal point. Way over there.
Well, I mean, after what he did with Star Trek, I could see why they're so excited about it. I mean, the Star Trek reboots are fantastic. So once you're able to take that, something that I loved, and I really personally felt like he took something I loved, JJ, and made it and just went, here you go, here's a new updated version. Enjoy, people. And some people did, some people didn't. I happen to be one of those people who went, wow, they did a complete fan service for me, and I loved it. I
personally like both of JJ's Star Wars movies, but as a through line, as a whole storyline, they're not good. Like if you watch each movie individually, I think they're fine.
Star Wars Raiders of the Lost Temple of Doom was okay, kind of, but
well, Star Wars Tomb Raider, Max. I wouldn't put it up to Indiana Jones standards.
Don't even do that. I mean, unless you want to add the Crystal Skull, then that's okay.
Sorry, yeah. Star Wars Raiders of the Lost Crystal Skull. That's
hold on. What's Crystal Skull? I've never heard of this movie.
Yeah, it was a made-for-TV sci-fi movie. Don't worry about it.
It's a great movie.
I've never heard of this movie. Let me tell you something that's
old
really
people
good.
in fridges.
Crystal Skull is the best Indiana Jones movie there is.
Because they're fighting the commies. That's why he likes it. He just likes fighting Russians.
Mick couldn't even say it with a straight face.
Oh, John Hot Take Orlando. I didn't know you could join us today.
Yeah, Mick couldn't even say that with a straight face. Like Casey could tell us right now that The Happening is the greatest film to ever grace film.
Wait, you don't think it is? It's so
Wait, what? No.
I do enjoy watching people run away from the wind. That's a great concept.
Well, because trees are evil.
You can't explain nature with science.
I'm Mark Wahlberg. I'm doing science over here. Hey.
Oh, I'm gonna punch that wind in the face.
It's just like ICP.
R.I.P.D. was fantastic. Who doesn't love a Jeff Bridges, Ryan Reynolds movie? It's what America needed.
It could have been so good, though.
I haven't seen that. Let me ask you guys a question, like a serious question, because I've heard the reviews, which has kept me away. If you're a Ryan Reynolds fan through everything he's done, I've liked most of what he's done. I liked him in Blade Trinity. I didn't like that movie, but I liked him in it. Would R.I.P.D. be worth one watch?
Look, Green Lantern and R.I.P.D. you just stay the fuck away from.
No, honestly, watch them once.
There's no reason.
No, watch them once. I have gone back to Green Lantern several times as a Ryan Reynolds fan, and I love it. It's awful, but you gotta enjoy the awful. You gotta be in a mood to watch something terrible, and yeah, you'll be fine with it. You might be happy.
Yeah, if you're a masochist like Dan, I would say watch R.I.P.D.
No, because those aren't even terrible. Okay, you go watch some weird ass, South Asian, fucking spy thriller or something. That's terrible. This is just stupid.
Yeah, see, it's not even bad enough.
I mean, don't say it's terrible.
For Dan to watch. It's just
how about this, Jason? Did you like Quarantine? Did you ever see Quarantine, the movie?
No, we lived it.
Right? Yeah, fair. But it's a weird, random. I don't remember the lead actress's name anymore. The Carpenter, name is
Carpenter.
Thank you, Jennifer Carpenter.
Yeah,
fantastically terrible movie. If you can enjoy something like that, you'll enjoy these movies, and then you'll never watch them again.
Or you could watch the original. What's better?
I just finished Star Trek Lower Decks, and as somebody who came on and said that it was just an okay pilot, that show gets better progressively throughout the season. I loved the last 3 or 4 episodes. I thought they were fantastic.
They're hilarious the way they tie in that world. They really associate with, okay, look, yeah, of course there's an Enterprise out here. Of course there's wonderful, amazing vehicles like the Titan, but Starfleet's huge, and there's a whole lot of slack asses.
Yes, and I'm really glad that Jonathan Frakes had a cameo in the final episode. I love Jonathan Frakes. The more work that guy gets, the happier I am.
The only thing I don't want to see him on is Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. It's
come on now. Those are fun.
We interviewed one of Mick's buddies, Blaine Weaver, and he was
in it. Right. First of all, I'm going to say this. Give the guy some credit. He's a Hollywood filmmaker. It's not just like one of my buddies.
So you're not friends? Is that what you're saying?
We are, but I want to at least give him credit. Like he's got.
I'm about you, Mick. I'm about you.
Not like Star Wars.
Maybe you value your judgment in people higher than anything they've actually accomplished.
I'm not throwing guests your way anymore.
So he was in Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. Apparently, I'm the only person who's ever asked him about this show. But the guy was also the voice of Peter Pan, and he made the one straight to Netflix American Pie movie that's okay. Like, it's actually not a bad movie. I enjoyed it. It does a really good job of capturing the essence of the original movie. Like, it doesn't go for the raunch like all the other direct-to-DVD sequels go. It had the heart and stuff, and actually it had no nudity in the movie at all. But I thought he did a really good job with that film, and he's also got a horror film called Getaway. See, Mick, I got it.
Love
okay,
Getaway.
what's the name of the American Pie movie besides the one good one that was on in theaters?
American Pie Girls Rules. Mick. I'm just going to do this real quick.
Not as bad as the Naked Mile.
Oh, Naked Mile is terrible.
I mean, like, it's got a lot of heart for a movie with some dude who's put his dick in a pie. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I watched like 25 minutes of Naked on accident one time, and
I didn't like. I watched 2 of the other ones, and they just turned Eugene Levy's character into like a weird pervert. Like, why is he at all these naked high school / college events?
Eugene Levy needs money. That's why.
Because next month we're gonna learn that. Because next month we're gonna learn that that's how he really is. Like somebody's gonna come out and be like,
God,
"Oh yeah."
I hope, man.
Don't do it.
I hope that everyone from SCTV is able to survive everything, all of the movements. I hope they have no blemishes.
Please don't suck. You know, it's like, God, I hate it when you find out he's like, oh, I like this person.
Yeah.
No, turns out they fucking suck. Shit.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, at least back in the day with like RDJ, you know, they were just drunken cocaine heads. Like, you can deal with that.
Yeah,
that's an addiction. You can get over that.
I can deal with self-destruction. I don't like you fucking like when people are just doing all this shit
that's fine.
to other people. You want to do whatever to yourself, that's your business. But like, keep your hands off people.
To Jen and Chris, if you guys are watching, Dan's opinions on the Eugene family is that of Dan, not that of the Three Geeks Podcast.
Family?
What's that? Yes.
Levy family.
But seriously,
they're just all name Eugene, you know.
It's like fucking George Foreman named all his kids George Foreman. Like,
yeah.
Georgette, Georgina.
The George family.
Scott, man, what have you been up to? We haven't heard from you at all. Kind of.
I can tell you, he's not been watching anime shows that he said he would watch for the anime podcast that we do.
But does he?
In my defense, I never said I would watch it. I don't think I even replied.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Uh-oh.
Carry on, Scott. I'm just gonna find the evidence that you're a liar.
I'm just fact checking you over here, but please tell us about things.
Regular Snopesimus Prime.
Damn. Not much.
It's deep. All right, guys, let's get into our WandaVision discussion.
All right.
I have been watching WandaVision.
That's your little glasses clinking there, isn't it, Scott?
I think so. Probably.
Yeah, that is.
Well, that's just cheers. He might have been hammered.
No, that's an acknowledgement and acceptance of the proposed anime.
Yeah, I don't know if you know how
Max is
low.
like, hey man, I want you to watch this, and Scott's just like, hey man, good for you.
Great idea. I'll get out of that.
That's all it means. Yeah, see, it's fun.
All right, guys, WandaVision's episode 6 and 7. Dan, we'll get to you at the end. You can tell us what you watched instead of WandaVision, or did instead of WandaVision.
Sure.
Episode 6, I thought, was awesome. I liked the costume contest, and I like Marvel's way of showing us that if they use those old costumes, how cheesy it would actually look.
I'm so grateful to have those old costumes because that's what I read. That's what I grew up with. Was that's my Scarlet Witch. That was my Vision. I mean, maybe a little less boxer gym shorts looking, but yeah, definitely those characters. Quicksilver nailed it. I'm just happy to have all these characters. It's the side Avengers. Yeah, the big hair up. It was so awesome. And it's great to see that. It's really fun because those are the callbacks that they're continuously making throughout the show, not just talking about television with the way the sitcoms are set up, but also showing where Marvel was during those times.
I think we all know why it was nice to see her in that outfit.
Hey-o.
I like how she's like, "Oh, I'm a Sokovian fortune teller." So I like how I was like kind of grounded in the world, which is like just a fun little like wink.
I thought the special effects where Vision was leaving the town, I thought those were really well done.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole scene was emotional. Like he's literally dying as he's forcing his way out.
Begging for help. Begging for help for these people is wonderful.
Yeah. Well, that's why you can wield Mjolnir.
And I love the combination of the two. Like they take what we love about the sitcom because we were in the 90s for that one. And then the stuff that's going on outside. Randall Park, that guy needs more work.
Gosh, he's hilarious. Always Be My Maybe was fantastic. I mean, he's just got such killer delivery.
Yeah, they really do. Like, I'm so glad they brought that character in to this, and yeah, I definitely. If you've watched any 2 episodes of Fresh Off the Boat, you can start to see this dude's just like he's got it going on. His comedy.
And he was fantastic, really good in.
So tell us more about how much you love Star Wars, Max. Like the good Star Wars, like the prequels and Last Jedi.
Uh-oh.
Yep, you heard it here first, folks. He loves them.
As he says nothing. Wait, is he frozen? Max, you all right?
Frozen.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm saving that picture.
I've been hearing rumors of Randall Park and Kat Dennings Marvel show where it'll be kind of like the X-Files, with the 2 of them playing the leads. I want to see it. I don't care, but I want to see it.
It could maybe be like a mini series or something.
Yeah.
I don't know why everything needs to get its own show now. I think they're kind of oversaturating the market.
No, that's very true. And Scott, I'm 100% with you because I actually went through that oversaturation issue where I had to kind of take a break and then come back to it. And now I'm rewatching the MCU because of WandaVision, because it did kind of jump forward and kind of jumpstart my desire for watching these shows again because it's so good. The world they've built is fantastic. And there is that fear of oversaturation. That's why when you have these great characters, you really don't want to kill them. You want to keep letting that just kind of build naturally through the course of this series. And then we always have that. It gives them more depth and gives them a lot more story, which I think they both deserve.
You know, they did it a little bit towards the end of the movie run before, during Endgame and so forth, where they started to kind of shift the way the movies were made. And the thing I like about WandaVision, and it looks like Loki's going to be kind of like that too, where they're trying new things. Like WandaVision is not a traditional show / traditional movie. You either love it or you don't. And I like that they're taking chances. And Loki looks like it's more of the same, where it's going to be a little bit more outside of the norm with the MCU. I mean, Winter Soldier and Falcon looks like it's going to be more of the same, but I like that we're getting some chances taken in this television experiment that they're doing. And they need to release Black Widow soon, or else Black Widow is going to turn into an irrelevant movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think my main problem with WandaVision is when they cut to outside the whatever they call it, the bubble or whatever, because I think, like you said, there's going to be other shows that are more traditional, like Winter Soldier and Falcon. So I wish it would be a little bit more just within the bubble. Like there's plenty of that stuff in there, but I kind of honestly lose a little interest whenever they cut out. And it's the aspect ratio changes and it's all, kind of serious and more just typical MCU stuff. That's not as interesting as the stuff happening inside.
It's very true, yeah. And I think they call it the Nexus. I think that was the throwback to the little pill commercial they did for Take a Nexus. If you have depression, if you're trying to get over stuff, and they made that a nice little segue there. Also, shining a light on our issue with our pharmaceutical companies in the United States.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I
don't a small light on a very large issue.
Well, Disney has to do something.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't disagree with you, Scott. I agree. I like what's happening inside Westview more so than outside, except for Randall Park. I love seeing him pop up, but they could put him in something else too, and I'd be okay with that. The problem is they have to put the outside of Westview because they wouldn't have the same audience that they have now if they didn't add that in, because general audiences aren't like us. They don't want the complex storyline. They want something that'll help move the story along for them.
I agree. I think we need the stuff outside, but I would have liked if they had gone longer before we even ever cut outside. I think it was like the third episode where they finally cut outside. It seemed to happen pretty quick. I was expecting it to be like closer to the end of the season before we saw any kind of like external, like here's what's actually happening.
And I think
that all just going to be mystery and intrigue on the inside.
And that would have been a great idea. I think the issue with that is, though, if you do that, you are going to lose the other story you're trying to tell. And if this is only going to be a limited series, they only have them for so long. So I can see why the pacing is the way it is. Now, if this was going to be 4 or 5 seasons, it'd be way cooler if they waited to the very end and then expose everything.
I mean, our own Dan is an example of why they can't do that and why they know their audience, because they lost Dan with the sitcom storyline after episode 2. And I think they would have lost because WandaVision broke Disney Plus 2 weeks ago. Like, they released the episode 10 minutes later. The whole thing was down for like an hour because too many people were trying to watch it at freaking 2 a.m., which is ridiculous. People like go to bed and just watch it the next day is how I see it. But
Jason, are you upset because you were affected by it?
No, I woke up the next day and I saw all of the critics that I follow were very upset that they couldn't watch it at 2 a.m. And I was 4:30 in the morning and I'm turning it on just fine. So, you know, guys, it's okay. It's fine. But
I don't know if the plan was to not, like, let's say we don't know what's going on the outside until Vision tries to push his way outside of the thing. I think they would have had to focus on making, you know, the sitcoms a little different, a little more involved. And I think they might have been able to keep, you know, the Dans of the fandom entertained. But you know, I agree though. I think, you know, depending on how long, because I thought it was only going to be 6 episodes, which is why they had to do that at episode 3. But you know, it's more than 6 episodes. So I really do think they could have, you know, like, we waited to find out, like, even, you know, like what is anything until Vision literally tries to push himself out of there to save everyone, and then you know, you figure out that there is an outside and the world is going on and she's doing all this, you know, but just because you learn a lot when someone comes to the outside, like, you learn that there's a lot of information just by that happening that you don't need to talk your way through. And so when you have them explain it to us like that, like, kind of, you know, heavy, like, just ham-handed, like, here's what's going on, here's all the things. That's I do feel like it could have been better. I'm enjoying it. I'm not you know, I don't want to poo-poo it too much, but I agree with Scott where, like, they I think they could have done it a little better and a little more, like, artistically, and it would have really shown. But you know, it's Disney, so you gotta take it.
You guys want the artistic season 2? Let's get David Lynch in there. We'll make this thing artistic.
There can't be a season 2. The cat's already out of the bag. Like, it's too late.
Well, because, like, especially in the earlier episodes, there's just, like, very unsettling moments where, like, you can tell, like, something's not right. Not everything is you know, seems to be. But like Max was saying, when you keep cutting out and getting exposition as to, you know, what things are and why they're happening, they really undercut those moments. Because there were, like, some episode 2 moments where I was like, that's really creepy and just, like, unsettling. And when you're constantly cutting out to, you know, what's her face, Dennings and Randall Park, you know, cracking wise outside and everything's, you know, kind of lighthearted, even, you know, in the real world, it's like that it loses that edge. So.
I think the Randall Park and Kat Dennings show would be great on ABC. But let's move away from that.
See, I have to disagree there real quick because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. already screwed up.
Yeah, but I think
we've already had our screw up. Let's leave it at that.
But what if they did it but good? Think about it, like, less of but good.
Yeah, because we don't have Perlmutter running the TV division anymore. We have Kevin Feige running the TV division. So I have a lot more faith in Feige than I did in Mutter. But we haven't really talked episode 7. In episode 7, things start to really make sense. We find out who Agnes is to some extent. And we find out that what we kind of all theorized in the beginning is that somebody's helping Wanda propel this, or she's being manipulated on some degree. And we kind of got that confirmed in this episode.
Yeah. I am a fan of Agnes Harkness. I like, Agnes is one of those things that I did not expect to enjoy as much as I do from the whole series. You know, like, she's always popping in, and and like doing her thing, and like she's the plucky neighbor, but like she's got just great timing. She works well within the like what she's given, and I enjoy that character. And to find out that like she might be carried on past this is really awesome. I'm excited about that. I was glad that she's like the villain of the show.
Well, Agatha is also a big part of like the Fantastic Four. So it'd be interesting if this is a lead into that.
I think with the New Salem tie-in, because she was part of that with the Scarlet Witch out in, when they were in old Colorado. So that was a fun storyline. So it's exciting to see what they do with this and how they're going to continue to play it up with the witches versus each other.
I think we're going to get a fantastic. I think everybody thought that this show was going to lead to the mutants, and sure, we kind of got a hint to what's her name, Rambo being changed because of her leaving the thing. So I think we kind of seen the mutation happen with her.
I feel like it's more than a hint when she like actually uses some powers. Shouldn't have control over them, but she definitely did a thing.
I think we've seen our first hint at the mutants with her, but I think the show is more so going to introduce us to the Fantastic Four, because Rambo mentioned she had a friend that could help, and I'm wondering if that friend, this has been all over the internet, wondering if that friend could be Reed Richards. And will we see Reed Richards show up on the show to help?
I just, if they're going to do Fantastic Four, I mean, like, God, please.
Been hurt so many times before.
You're right? Like, don't fuck the Fantastic Four again. Like, I can't handle it happening again. Like, there should be a Me Too just for Fantastic Fours. Like these poor guys, these poor characters have just been ruined time and time again.
Well, the 90s version was fantastic. That was really good. I love the spandex bodysuits. It was really solid.
Roger Corman?
The 2000s were great, man. I'm sorry, but that original Fantastic Four, the ones that came out with Ian Gruffold and Jessica Alba, I dug those. I thought they were decent. I have very little wrong with those.
You are
very little wrong with those. Look, as far as movies go, who didn't love Lawrence Fishburne? As he was great as a Silver Surfer. That's what you want. That's how you beat the Silver Surfer, is just logicking them.
I'm just surprised you know that guy's name. Mr. Fantastic's name.
Oh, yeah, Ian Gruffold. I was a big fan of his. He did quite a few movies that I was a big fan of.
Right. He was in that
Amazing Grace was good. Oh, yeah, the King Arthur movie was awesome, man. He was Lancelot.
Oh.
But I give WandaVision 6 out of 7. I'm continuing with my 3 out of 3 geeks.
I would absolutely jump in and give it a 3 out of 3. I think it's fantastic. It's worth a watch. It's been solid the whole way through. I haven't seen enough of anything that takes me out of the MCU. It throws me right back in, and it comfortably lays me down on a satin pillow and says welcome.
You see, nothing you say can be taken seriously. You just said you like the Fantastic Four movies from the 2000s. Like, there's
he means it.
No way.
He means it, and I don't blame him. I mean, I don't think they're terrible either.
I like the first one enough. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. The first one.
Oh, come on! At a time when we had, give us a little bit of credit. At a time when we had what was that Daredevil movie? You're gonna say that they completely fucked up the Fantastic Four?
Yeah. I don't think they did with that first one. I don't think the special effects hold up, but on the second one, I can't do clouds anymore. Like that and Green Lantern.
The only thing that was good in the Fantastic Four movies was Chris Evans, Human Torch, and that's like saying Ryan Reynolds was good in Blade Trinity. Okay, like it's not that's what the survivors say. Afterwards, it's like, well, at least there was this to get us through, but like there's no that's not a good thing. Okay,
I just think of the members of the soccer team from Alive being like, well, I mean, at least the defender had some thick calves,
right? Like tasty chops.
But Max, let's take a second and show that vodka again, because Cheryl just shared us and she's chatting in the thing. Check out Rockabella Vodka, guys. It is fantastic.
I'm going to tell you, I dig Rockabella and Cranberry. So here's to you, Cheryl.
Scott, what do you give WandaVision?
These last 2 episodes, I think I put them around a 2. 2 out of 3. So like I said, I think a lot of the intrigue has been lost. I think they're explaining too much too fast. But it's still very entertaining, and still excited to watch it every Friday.
I would put it at 2, personally.
Yep, okay. I think 2 is right where it needs to be. It's because Disney. You can see where Disney's running the show. Mm-hmm. If it was given to any one person to do that, obviously they can't have David Lynch do it. But if it was given to Lynch to do, and they let him do his thing, it would be 3 out of 3, good. 4 out of 3 geeks. But they have to Disneyfy it. There has to be a Disneyfication. There's got to be the explanation, everything. When stuff you can hey Disney, just to let you know, you can infer things and people will pick up on that.
Now, Max, I'm only going to defend them.
It's entirely impossible for people to understand things you don't say explicitly. Just so you know.
I hear you and what you're saying, but I have to disagree and give them some leeway here because it's very important that Marvel explains everything, and there's a lot to explain to people who didn't read the comic books. So most of us nerds can sit around and go, yeah, absolutely, man. They could totally X-Files this and make it a much neater story. The problem is, in order to do that, you're taking away from the 13, 14, and 15-year-olds who are just getting into it, who have no idea who these characters are outside of the MCU.
I disagree wholeheartedly because I've not read Scarlet Witch. I've not read a bunch of Avengers. I've not read a lot of things that would directly pertain to this story. And you can tell the story, and it can be you can have a good thing with these characters in it and understand everything that's going on. I disagree wholeheartedly. I think they really sell people short, and the dumbing down that they do for, so that people can get in on it, it is a disservice to what they could have if they just make it good. People will watch it and want to understand and go and find out what you mean. If it's, if they're confused about something. Like my sister, she enjoys the show. She's got 33 questions for me after every episode. She doesn't understand, 10 things that are going on, but she enjoys the show. So you can still do it. And it's like the hardcore fans are there to help the people who don't understand. The show could be excellent. It's just good.
Well played.
I think the main problem is that it's the first MCU Disney Plus show. So the fact that it's kind of more weird, but it's the first one, so it's kind of pioneering the shows in general. They kind of have to make it a little more accessible. I think if they had started with Falcon Winter Soldier, which seems to be more just traditional stuff, that would have been a better entry point into here's how the shows are, here's the format, and then they could get weird with WandaVision, maybe second or third show.
I agree way more with that. Yeah, that would make more sense because if you're going to have a buddy cop show, it's going to go over way easier.
Written by Shane Black.
Yeah, especially if it's not a mind fuck.
Nobody,
not Legion.
Nobody cares about our opinions. All they want to know is, what did Dan do instead of watch WandaVision? And I want to give
that's awesome.
I want to give kudos to one of our producing partners, Justin, who is busy editing another thing for us. But thank you, Justin, for putting that together for what's going to be the new Dan segment. Yeah. And we appreciate it, man. So, Dan, what did you do instead of watch WandaVision?
I forgot when we were talking earlier. I did watch 2 more Westerns. Last Sunday, I watched the original Django from 1966. It was actually pretty damn good. The dub is awful because it's Italian, done by hold on, I got to get the name right. Give me a second.
I got to say this real quick, Dan, while you look. Nerds and snobs all together. We are geeks, not nerds. We don't use the N-word on this podcast.
I'm a nerd.
I'm all of them.
Continue, Dan.
Sergio Corbucci directed this, which actually
started the whole little more.
Sergio Corbucci.
There we go.
Better. Okay. Yes, okay. Yeah, he pretty much jump started the whole spaghetti western kick for the Europeans, Italians. The odd thing about this one is that if you watch the credits, Ruggero Deodato was one of the cameramen on this one.
Who?
who went on to make Cannibal Holocaust, which I thought was kind of funny. But yeah, Django was actually pretty damn cool. He comes into a very, very muddy town, tries to help a lady who both the Spanish and the guys running the town want to kill. They end up not killing her. They end up almost killing Django. He kills everybody. The end. I also watched Hang 'em. yeah. All the bad guys die. It just the impression that I got was this town doesn't deserve defending because it's just completely muddy. Like the whole thing is just one like ankle deep mud. I don't know why, but that was the style. I also watched Hang 'em High. It's a Clint Eastwood film. Yes. The coolest thing I think about it though is that the guy playing the judge is the same guy who plays the boss in Maximum Overdrive.
Yep.
Of the and during the whole movie, whenever he's on screen, I just want him to say Bubba like over and over again. Like, you got to go out and get those guys, Bubba. but yeah, it's a great film. Clint in the very beginning is the nicest you'll usually see Clint. He's helping this nice little cow. Sorry. Out of the river, and he's like holding it and stuff. Then the posse shows up and hangs him wrongly. And then he's just pissed the rest of the movie. It's great.
Then you're into the Clint.
But yes.
Really showed Clint's range.
But it's apparently I've always confused this with Pale Rider because I was under the impression that like he was a ghost the whole time. But he's not. He's just very angry that they tried to hang him and failed. But yeah, it's pretty good. I would give both flicks a 2 out of 3.
I can't believe I actually seen a Dan pick. That's crazy.
I mean, hey.
Well, it is Clint Eastwood though. It's not like it's an obscure title. It's fucking Clint Eastwood. So
no, it's not at all. But I would have been more impressed had you gone back and seen the old Django movie.
I'm not gonna look for an entire movie. I'm not gonna do that.
It's pretty good, man. I'm telling you.
Django was one of the few spaghetti westerns I never got into.
Yeah, the last gunfight in the cemetery is pretty, janky yet cool at the same time. So,
Mick, I know you got to go for the second hour. So, do you want to promote anything real quick?
Yeah, just go check out thescenesnobs.com and check out Casey over there. Check out the Madman and I every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. on the Teen Snobs podcast, live over there.
Awesome. I know Casey's sticking around for favorite television series that's coming up, but I want to take one quick second we have a sponsor. And I want to talk about the sponsor real quick because, one, Stacy Toy is amazing. And as we found out recently, Lindsay Noel is also amazing. So lindsaynoel.com is where you can find the highest quality CBD and everything beautiful, brains, and bath bombs. All Lindsay Noel CBD products have been tested, are vegan, gluten-free, and not tested on animals. Get a full night's rest with their PM CBD melatonin mints, or brighten up your skin with their CBD 3-in-1 eye serum. Give your pets their beef-flavored CBD chewables, or rub in our topical pain cream with 500 milligrams of CBD. LindsayNoel.com is where both men and women are inspired, educated, and encouraged. Lindsay Noel CBD is more than a brand, it's a lifestyle. Go to lindsaynoel.com and mention 3 Geeks Podcast when you order to get a free gift and extra samples to try some of their new products. You also will get a $5 gift card for your next purchase. Go to lindsaynoel.com and tell her the 3 Geeks Podcast sent you. And please support them. They are lovely ladies. Max and I have tried the product. It's good stuff. The day I was moving, I had some CBD drops, and that day should have been super stressful, but it was not. I was super chill and mellow the whole time. And
I'm going to say, with that CBD, for men, deconstructed and reconstructed, Jason's furniture from fucking IKEA. Okay, so no stress at all. No stress at all. Like, that is how good this shit is.
Max just for you with 3 sentences.
It only took 4 men.
Cheryl, we love Stacy as well. Tim says Stacy is amazing. And then Cheryl gives us claps.
Yay!
Hello, everybody. All right, Mick, we will see you later, buddy. Casey, thanks for sticking around. When we come back, our top 5 television shows from our childhood. Stay tuned and enjoy this quick, brief message.
Talk commercial, take 5. Hey, Jason, have you ever been accused of a crime?
I have not yet, John. But if I ever was, there's only one man I would call, and that man is Benjamin Matlock.
You would be right to do that because he's a guy that can certainly clear your name of any accusations that come your way. It doesn't matter, man, if you're accused of, say, I don't know, murdering your ex-husband live on your TV cooking show, or using a pair of scissors to stab your business manager to death, or maybe you sneak into your landlord's office and off him overnight during the Christmas season. Matlock can get you taken care of. And you know what? He's also a dude that is a subject of a pretty cool podcast called Matt Talk, right, Jason?
Yeah, he is. And I'm so glad John just aired out all my dirty laundry. But it's great to know that when I stab my landlord or I, commit any crimes, I can call the one man. And that one man is Benjamin Matlock.
That's right. And you can check out our podcast called Matt Talk every second and fourth Monday of the month. It's available on all of the podcasting platforms, including Anchor. Just go to anchor.fm/Matt Talk. And it's available through the Facebook page. Of course, that is at Matt Talk Podcast. And you could check out every single episode when they drop. And real soon, it'll be available every Saturday at noon through the Scene Snobs channel. Just look for the Scene Snobs, on Facebook or thescenesnobs.com. Jason, tell them about the email and the Twitter account, please.
You guys can email us anytime at benmattalk@gmail.com. That is benmattalk@gmail.com. One more time, benmattalk@gmail.com. Email me. Let us know what you think of this commercial. Let us know what you think of the episodes. We have some great interviews with Lori Lathine and
Linda Pearl and Scott Valentine and a ton of other great episodes. And by the way, check us out on Twitter. We're just got on Twitter at MattTalk_podcast. And so, ladies and gentlemen, check out an episode. And as they say in court, nothing further.
Hi, I'm Casper.
And I'm Becky.
Does the second and the fourth not work out to every other Tuesday?
We are a spoopy horror podcast that pretty much covers everything under the genre.
We cover haunted locations, we cover true crime, cryptids, movies, anything you can literally think of. We are all over it.
Everything spoopy.
On Wednesdays, and why?
Wednesdays are for podcast. Thanks, guys.
Hey everybody, it's John Orlando from the PBD Cast. Are you wondering where you can find my podcast? Well, it's real simple. Just go over to pbdcast.com, the online home of yours truly, or it's available through all of those major podcasting platforms. Just search for it in Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, iHeartRadio app, and don't forget that every single Monday night at 8 o'clock, I do a live broadcast of the week's episode of the PBD Cast through the Facebook page. Just go over to facebook.com and search for @PBDcast and join me every Monday night at 8 p.m. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get on out of here. So I'll chat at each and every one of you later.
Does anyone else feel like he's doing a voice, like a PBD Cast voice?
What's going on, everybody? It's the Scene Snob, Mick Manhattan, and I'm here to tell you guys about thescenesnobs.com. We're a channel of variety, comedy, entertainment, geek-related, sports, the whole 9 yards. We cover almost every genre. And we have so many great shows to choose from. We have shows like the Scene Snobs Podcast, BTB Podcast, The Guapo Show, the Sports Snobs Podcast, the PVD Cast. Jeff Dwoskin presents Crossing the Streams, the Three Geeks Podcast, the Fandom Effect. We probably have the only Matlock-based podcast called Matt Talk, and we're introducing new shows all the time. We have new shows coming up like the Ear Hustling Podcast, Carpool Shenanigans, and of course, from some nobodies, Twitching Upstream and Talking Upstream. So come on, check out thescenesnobs.com, enjoy it, and please leave feedback. Like, follow, subscribe us, and just let us know what you think. We love to have all the interaction. So I, again, am the Scene Snob McManhattan. Check out thescenesnobs.com. You can follow us anywhere on social media at The Scene Snob, and we will talk to you guys soon. Take care.
3, 2, 1.
I'm Gunnar Quaylen.
I'm Jenna St. Clair.
From churchofsecrets.org.
You're listening to John, Dan, Scott, Max, and Jason
on the Three Geeks Podcast.
We're back! Everybody, somehow Max found his mute button and was unable to mute himself and provide commentary.
Oh my goodness, dude. If I would have only known before
the commentary was fantastic, especially about the PVD cast. Is he just doing a PVD voice?
The sexy PVD voice is pretty on point, I thought. It's different from the normal voice.
It's very buttery.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's doing a thing.
So should I be concerned that John uses that voice when he talks to me on the phone?
Yes.
Not as much concerned as happy. Yeah, exactly. Flattered.
He doesn't use that voice for everybody.
That's true.
It's good. But I dig PVD voice. I wish we were deserved of PVD voice when he's on the cast.
All right, guys. We are going to discuss. We're going to do a top 5 of our favorite shows growing up. And the way we're going to do this is like we do all of our top 5s. I'll say my 5, and then we'll go around in a circle. Everybody will discuss their 5. If somebody says their 5 and it happens to be higher on somebody else's list, that person will say, hold on to it, and then we'll move on to the next person's 4, and we'll discuss whatever that 5 was. For instance, let's say Scott's 5 was Rainbow Bright. And then Max said, hold on to Rainbow Bright, and then we would wait until it came up on Max.
Oh, no, hold on. Don't talk about Rainbow Bright.
I used to love Rainbow Bright, but that's not on my list.
I feel like I'm going to have a little bit of overlap, especially with Max and Dan. We'll see.
Yeah, I think there will be overlap. But I'm going to start with our guest, Casey. What was your number 5 favorite thing to watch growing up?
So this was a curious one because you had said growing up, and I was a bit on the outs as to if you meant like what age we were going for.
It doesn't matter. Whatever.
So I kind of flipped mine a little bit, and I went with a little more when I was older and what my original shows were. You know, the shows I got to choose. So actually, number 5 for me was Boy Meets World. It pretty much covers anything that was in that TGIF block because those were the shows that I got to choose along with we were still watching as a family. So introduced to as a family, and I was able to carry them on. And Boy Meets World out of all of those really was my top for that era.
I really like Boy Meets World. It was my number 6. Like it barely missed my list. And I rewatched Boy Meets World maybe 5 or 6 years ago with my daughter when she was 5 or 6. And the one of the problems with Girl Meets World is it completely dumbed down the show, the content of the show.
Yeah, which is hard to do.
Well, Boy Meets World, like a lot of the TGIF shows, they did deal with adult topics from time to time. And I was able to enjoy the show as an adult as well as a kid, especially enjoying it with my daughter who loves it. And she'll even tell you, as somebody who Girl Meets World was aimed for, she'll tell you Boy Meets World is better every day of the week.
Well, it was a lot smarter in addressing those things from a tween perspective, from that sort of you're growing into teenagerhood and then all of a sudden, okay, you're in teenagerhood. And the thing is with shows like that, you got to remember when they're focusing that way, they're dealing with the fact that you as a child are dealing with your parents' stuff or dealing with outside things that are happening. And only a little bit is the drama of the teen angstiness. In the new show, Girl Meets World, it's much more the teen angstiness, much more the focus on her growing as opposed to what Corey was growing through in other things happening around him.
Yes. And
so there's no like Eric Matthews character?
Oh, he's in Girl Meets World.
Well, no. But I'm like, not is he Eric Matthews in Girl Meets World, or is he somehow
he's Eric.
He's somehow weirdly her older brother.
there is no older.
Right, because
like
you're saying, like they have a lot of things. Like you're going on like Corey's stuff and Eric's stuff and the parents' stuff. So like you're seeing a lot of different things and how it affects the whole family, like on down through the ages. So like
and that era of shows really dealt with more of like the socioeconomic standing, so poor kids and how different families treated each other. It kind of touched on a little bit of everything. I mean, it definitely influenced a lot of thoughts and perspectives that I had to a different level.
Yeah, I agree. And who didn't have a crush on Daniel Fishel?
I mean, come on, get out of here. Topanga was the business. Topanga.
Yeah. Dude, as soon as Girl Meets World came out, she posed for Maxim magazine.
Mm-hmm.
I went out. I never buy magazines. I went out to the store. I picked up the magazine because the inner child had to have this magazine.
You're a pervert.
What?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're saying 13-year-old you wasn't?
No, when I was 13 years old, it's fine. But like as a 37-year-old, I don't go talking about the girl that I had a crush on when I was 13.
Well,
I do.
That's
absolutely
in the magazine.
I mean, come on, yeah, that's the thing. Is she's older now. It's not like you're taking a 14-year-old girl taking pictures of her.
It's like that weird space where you're talking about like when the Olsen twins turned 18 and everyone's like, "Oh man, they're turning 18." You're like, maybe just leave this alone. Maybe just leave it alone.
Yes, if it was me, counting down for the Olsen twins to turn 18, it would be weird. But Danielle Fishel is pretty much our same age, so it's not like I had a countdown when I'm 40 years old for her to turn 18.
Whatever, man. You're watching Boy Meets World, Jones and Topanga. That ain't me. Just saying.
So Boy Meets World definitely hits my number 5. Oh.
Scott, what was your number 5, bud?
I'm sure you're not going to be surprised, but most of my shows are cartoons.
Yeah,
that's mostly what I watched. Exactly. So my number 5, and I'm not going to lie, this came very close to being Home Improvement, but didn't quite make the list. My number 5 is Invader Zim.
Nice.
That was a very formative show for 10-year-old Scott. I didn't have like a goth phase or anything like that, and I definitely try to distance myself from that fandom because there's a lot of weirdos in there. But it was just a weird, it was just a lot different than anything I had seen, especially on like Nickelodeon, where there's like a lot of like Rugrats and SpongeBob and stuff like that. So it was just very interesting to like have that kind of show on that network at that period of time.
Yeah, it was definitely jarring.
I even enjoyed the Netflix movie they put out somewhat recently, even because it's just like kind of more of the same. It feels like it's like they hadn't missed a step. It's like the same kind of humor. So, yeah.
Invader Zim didn't make my list because I didn't watch it until I was a little older, but I fucking love that show. And I love waffles.
Yes. Waffles and pigs and peas.
You guys are going to make fun of me for my number 5 choice, but if I'm being honest, it really was my number 5 show growing up, and that was Matlock. I watched
Jesus Christ.
This is just another commercial for
my God. We've already said the Matt Talk commercial.
You can, when I stayed home sick from school and they had a cliffhanger Matlock episode, you best believe I was being sick the next day. I would find a way that I was going to stay home sick so I could find out what happened.
Yeah,
and
Jason had mono at one point in time. Apparently, he was just watching every season of Matlock back to back.
I did have mono. That was in high school.
Sure you did, bud. Sure you did.
But yes, if I'm being honest,
Matlock gave him mono for that.
Max.
My number 5 is Knight Rider. It's terrible. Like all of my shows are like not rewatchable. Knight Rider. I fucking loved. I love the car. Mr. Feeney is in it.
Heck yeah, dude. Kit was amazing.
Yeah, like Kit was the shit. We actually had a dog we named Kit after. He was a little black toy poodle that we named Kit. He didn't talk though, so that was we were kind of missing out. He was also not a car. But no, Knight Rider is just one of those shows that I loved, and then like I didn't It's one of those things that lets you know when you grow up, because you can't rewatch it. Like you can't go back and you're just like, oh wow, this is actually terrible.
Yeah, no, you can rewatch it. It's just a terrible choice.
Yeah. John would disagree with you if he was here today, because John just got Knight Rider season 2 at his place, and he's super excited.
Look, man, I just picked up Tropic Thunder. I'm not saying it's good.
Nice.
So that's it. Knight Rider. Woo woo. Oh. That's it for me.
That's a surprise. Dan, what's your number 5 that you grew up watching and enjoying?
Don't ask me like any of the jokes or anything, but I distinctly remember having to watch You Can't Do That on Television.
Yes.
Nickelodeon with the green slime and all the
Yes.
But that's all I remember of the whole thing was the green slime, and some dude had a mustache, and there were words you couldn't say.
That's right. That's about all I remember of it too, but I loved it.
Good shit. Good shit.
Yes. Hold on one second.
Do we all get to enjoy this?
Yeah, what's happening?
Yeah, really. It's just Jason looking at it. There you go.
I mean, that fell right in there with like Double Dare and all those. That was great.
Yeah.
Sketch comedy?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, wow. Wild. That's a flashback, man.
That's a good pull, Dan.
Is that Bob Newhart?
It looks like him.
No. It's cheap version.
No. Yeah. It's
actually Bill Newhart.
Of Bob Newhart. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched
Brian
that show
Newhart.
religiously. I was the only one I knew that had Nickelodeon at the time, and I couldn't tell you one thing that happened except for they would come out of the lockers.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. They would tell bad jokes when they came out. Yeah.
Yep, going back and forth. That was always fun.
Good pick, Dan.
Yeah.
With a deep cut.
Casey, what's your 4?
Okay, number 4 for me actually falls in line with what Dan was going with. Another part, so if it wasn't TGIF, I then had SNCC. So all that was one of my absolute favorites.
Stop it. Save it. It's higher on my list.
Okay. And I also wanted to sneak in there at the same time of SNCC. I went with all that, but Are You Afraid of the Dark is right on that level.
Okay.
Because it was always those were my shows that I had to watch on Saturday night.
Midnight Society.
Are You Afraid of the Dark had an awesome PC game that I used to play with my buddy Brandon Kilgore, where they were like trapped in an opera thing and you had to go around and find the things. Things scared the crap out of me.
Nice.
Dan knows.
Wait, didn't that have Jeff Goldblum in it? As the vampire in the game, or am I thinking of something else?
Oh,
maybe something else. For some reason, I'm thinking Tim Curry was in it, but I don't remember. Well, Dan searches for that. Scott, what is your number 4?
Yeah.
My number 4, again, another cartoon, is Samurai Jack.
Oh, God, with the good pick.
I mean, it came out in 2001. I was only 11 times. So. Yeah.
Samurai Jack is the shit. Gendy Tartakovsky. We mentioned him earlier in the podcast. That dude, I love everything he does. Like this, he's not done one thing that I didn't like yet.
I remember, like, as a kid, I was 11 years old, and it's like, oh, there's a new cartoon coming out by the same guy who did Dexter's Lab, and it's called Samurai Jack. And I was like, that sounds so stupid. Like, I'm gonna hate it. And then it came out, and I was like, I love everything about this. This is so amazing.
And it's so different from Dexter's Lab. I mean, like, there's some of the same elements like Gendy likes to do a lot. He likes to have things go on without words being spoken.
Yeah.
But
just those long, like, cold cuts.
Yeah.
Where it's just focusing on like one thing.
If you like Dexter's Lab, like, there's no reason you should like Samurai Jack. Like, they're just not the same thing at all. I love Gendy, but Samurai Jack is one of my favorite fucking cartoons of all time.
Yes.
One of my favorites for my number 4 is Saved by the Bell. I got
you there.
The number 1 show I watched
Wait, is it higher on Casey's list?
It's higher on my list.
Okay, save it then.
Save it.
Max, what was your 4?
Number 4 is going to go to Family Matters.
Yes, TGIF.
Family Matters. It was a little earlier than Fresh Prince, and it, like being a black guy in like a suburban society. The show is kind of like directed at me, so that's like one of the original shows that I ever watched where I was like, okay, like because I was Cosby was kind of over my head. So like Family Matters.
I did watch a lot of Cosby as a kid.
But yeah, I never connected with it though. I don't know what it was.
Family Matters was one that I agree with, totally connected, and plus I got to see what happened after Die Hard. You get the story of the partner. I mean, it's
exactly. Like so it's Family Matters is one of my favorites.
Grandma was hilarious in that show. She was so damn funny, and Aunt Jackie was hot as all get out. I mean, come on.
Family Matters definitely aged better than the Cosby Show. And is Family Matters the best spinoff of all time?
Yes. If it's a spinoff of Die Hard, then yes.
It's not. It's a spinoff of Perfect Strangers. The character of Harriet and what was the dad's name?
No, Carl? I think it's a spinoff.
I would have voted for the Jeffersons, actually.
They worked in the building that the Perfect
Nakatomi Plaza?
No, he didn't work in Nakatomi Plaza. He was just driving by at the time.
Right. Yeah, so, and they had to move from LA, where I believe Perfect Strangers took place in New York,
Chicago.
Did take place in Chicago?
Yeah, they both did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I guess Carl was just out in LA. That must have been right before he got married.
Yes.
Well, to be fair, Carl was only in one episode. Harriet ran the freaking elevator in Perfect Strangers, but.
So maybe he was a Chicago. See, basically what we're getting is finding out that Family Matters is what happens when the families were able to come back, when Harriet and Carl were able to make it work, and John and his wife were not. So,
no, that's 100%. Die Hard took place before, and then after that, they moved to Chicago, where she got the job working on the elevator, and then he became a Chicago police. Yeah, no, it all connects for sure.
Perfect.
I love it. It is the greatest sequel or the greatest spinoff of all time. I will.
No, it's not.
100%. And Home Improvement was also almost on my list. Dan, what was your number 4?
Hold on. First of all, Jeff Goldblum was in the Goosebumps game, not the.
I definitely know that now.
Mistake to make. That's an easy mistake to make.
Also, the best spinoff is the Jeffersons. I'm sorry. And my pick is
spinoff of Die Hard, though.
I understand that, but neither did Family Matters, really.
Lies and slander.
And if we're gonna go way back to my childhood, I'm gonna have to go with He-Man.
Nice
for my fourth pick.
Another unrewatchable.
Yeah, Oh God, I tried to rewatch it, okay, and
we had a bet.
I made it like 2.5 episodes in, and no.
It's awful. Thundercats, Silverhawks, none of them are rewatchable.
Oh, dude, no, you're like killing my list now. You're killing my list.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy. The remake was slightly better, but I don't know, man.
What about the Dolph Lundgren movie?
It's amazing. Masters of the Universe is phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
I own it. I've watched it well over 1 million times at this point. That's not even hyperbole. I was in love with that movie, still am in love with that movie, and I will swaddle myself with the joy that it brings me every time I watch it.
I mean, I enjoyed the movie, the Masters of the Universe movie, but it's like when they're just like, we have nothing to go on here, like the guy, they're like, we're gonna make He-Man's popular, we're gonna make a He-Man movie. Okay, well, what's He-Man about? Well,
they left it a little wide open. They nailed Skeletor. We got Evelyn. I mean, we got some good parts. A lot of good parts.
Yeah, you got some random teenagers and city and some weird little I mean, little guy with
There's
who's the
like-
Keymaker. I don't
Gwildor,
know.
yeah, sure. Well, Gwildor, that makes sense. We can't have Orko. Gwildor sounds good. We'll go with that. Hi.
Hi, Saj.
Yeah, because
Because Billy
There's-
Barty.
Like if you compare the levels of homoeroticism, there's like little to no homoeroticism in the movie versus the show. Like
Which was really a letdown.
Yeah, I'm saying it's like it's not even noticeable. Like they didn't carry any of that over from the cartoon.
Yeah, they should have had a little more.
It seems to be one of the main points.
Could have got a little more work from that man at arms, huh? You know, maybe him fighting Beast a little more if you feel me there, right?
Well, you do realize that there is a character called Fisto, right?
Touche.
There you go.
Hey man, they were hard up for characters.
It's a bit on the nose, but
Hasbro needed to sell more.
Casey, what's your 3?
Okay, moving on to number 3. This one actually got a little hinky for me. I wasn't sure which direction I was going to go, but that's where Saved by the Bell landed for me.
Okay.
So, and it landed there for me because it was one of those shows that I had to watch on Saturdays, and it was so freaking great to follow this story of kids who are actually growing up. You know, and I was maybe 2 or 3 years behind where they were timeline wise, but it was always really cool to watch people going through similar things in a similar way. And it was goofy. I took a lot of my goofiness from a lot of those characters. Shocker. And there were plenty of them. Plus, who didn't fall in love with Kelly Kapowski? And then Jesse Spano and Lisa Turtle. Every single one of them was in love with all of them.
Oh, me too, man. When Showgirls came out in middle school, that thing was passed around like it was gold.
Because it was.
Yeah. Jesse Spano is nude in a movie. Like 7th grade me was just like, yes.
Yes. And then 14-year-old me learned that writhing on it like that in that pool scene doesn't work.
No.
Thanks for crushing my dreams. I'm still hoping to try that.
No, I mean, you can try it, buddy.
No, don't. If you,
Make sure maybe you have a safety harness on or something.
Yeah, no, if you like your man bits, I wouldn't suggest that.
I guess that's true. But no, Saved by the Bell, same thing. I loved it.
And the Lisa Caroli storyline. Leah Remini. I mean, that was when I was like, okay, well, I'm sold. You've had 4 gorgeous women in this show. What am I supposed to do? Not like it?
One of the things I've always liked about TV is characters. I think that's why I like a lot more TV than most people do, is because I cling to the characters. But with Saved by the Bell, it always drove me crazy that there was no continuity. Like when we got the Tory years, there was nothing. Like, because she pops in, and they reference it in the new Saved by the Bell, which is one of my favorite moments of the show when they bring up Tori. But she's there, and then she's gone. She's not at the graduation. Suddenly, Kelly and Jesse are back, and she's not even mentioned again. And Kelly and Jesse leave for a little bit, and she comes on, and they're not ever mentioned again. Like, that drove me crazy.
Well, I think that also introduced us to what, studios are like. The fact that they will just write people out. It kind of prepared us for that.
And
it made life easier.
Leah Remini was one of my first crushes. Like, Kelly was great. Spano was great. They were all great. But Leah Remini at the beach club that they worked at for the summer was amazing. And I watched all the Saved by the Bell movies. I liked the college years too. It's got a special place in my heart.
Love the college years.
It was the only Saved by the Bell I got to watch live. So it was Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, and it was Saved by the Bell, the college years. It was Sunday night. It was a good night to be alive. And then the next day at Miss Blanchard, I think was her name's art class, I would sit there with my buddy Amit. I'm pretty sure Max was there with us talking about it, and we would just geek out over Lois and Clark.
You can't prove that.
The college years.
Hey, I remember there was a period in 4th grade. When I say a period, like that short of a time span, like literally a class, where I legitimately dressed up and was doing the Mario Lopez AC Slater thing. I had maroon parachute pants. I had a white T-shirt on. I was flipping my chair backwards and sitting down.
He was fit, though.
Yeah, no, mine was backwards. I had called them reverse muscles. The more I do, the less you see. It's phenomenal.
That's a good pick. Scott, what's your 3?
My 3 is this is a tough one. Can we do ties? Are we doing ties?
Absolutely.
All right.
Sure.
All right. And this is a weird equivalence to draw, but my number 3 is a tie between the Spider-Man animated show from 1990s and the Batman animated show.
Oh, I'm with you 100%.
Because I think hold on.
I can't even. No, dude, Batman is so much better. It's so much better.
Let me finish. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Batman has aged so much better. I can still watch that show, no problem. But Spider-Man was very it was like my very first exposure to that character at all. So that's kind of where I draw a lot of my this is how the character should be. And I was 4 years old and I learned to program the VCR so I could record it on Saturday mornings. So it was just again a very formative show. But I agree, Batman has had a longer lasting effect on me. But Spider-Man was just that perfect moment in time during my very early development.
Linebacker for the New York Giants.
I'm completely with Scott, man. I mean, I agree 100%. That caught me right at that time. I mean, that was one of my first exposures to Spider-Man. Same with X-Men on that Saturday morning cartoon. Love all of them because of that reason. Batman was still a step above, though, because it is rewatchable. And that was one that was also on every day after school for me. So amazing.
No, yeah. If it was a 3 and then a 2.5 or something, absolutely Batman's above Spider-Man. But Spider-Man was just very influential.
And a great Lizard. I love that Doc Connors in that Spider-Man.
Yeah, they did. I think they did Lizard pretty good.
A lot of the characters, I think.
But the handcuffs that the Spider-Man cartoon had, it's so bad. You can't rewatch it. It's okay, you can throw somebody through a window, but there can't be glass in it, or or whatever.
Punch somebody.
Yeah,
they're just always tackling people. They could kick. He could kick too.
Mm-hmm. There was kicking. There was a fair amount of kicking because Black Cat always kicked everybody.
Which was cool because he would swing down on his web and swing kick people, and I mean we use
his webs a lot. It was great.
Why is it that you're allowed to kick somebody, which would do way more damage than you're allowed to punch somebody? I guess because
you're right.
Kicking somebody, it's hard to connect. If I'm trying to kick you in the face, it's harder to do than punching you in the face. So if I'm a child, I guess if we're playing Spider-Man, a lot of kids aren't going to get kicked in the face versus punched in the face. But why? Why is that acceptable? Because when you do connect, the damage is real.
Well, the MPAA is very confused. That's why.
Goodness sake, that Spider-Man show. I loved it too when I was a kid. Yeah, it was good then, but you oh my god.
It's like He-Man. It's super hard to rewatch. Not impossible. But it gave me a good introduction to not just Spider-Man, but a lot of just Marvel characters and storylines and stuff like that. They had Doctor Strange and Iron Man and
Punisher.
All sorts of, Punisher, which is another weird inclusion. Morbius.
Right? When you're not allowed to kill anybody, this is really odd. Why? Why pick him? Anyone else, literally anyone else.
Because he was so popular, but he did remember have a lot of those guns that weren't shooting bullets.
Right.
He had net guns. Yeah, or they love the glue gun.
And those how many rocket launchers did they shoot during those things? Missiles galore.
So many lasers. And
again, but the missiles then would just explode into nets.
Yeah.
The James Bondiest missiles you've ever seen.
All right, guys, my number 3, and I thought this was going to be higher, but if I'm being honest with myself, it's right where it should be, and that had the best cereal to tie into this animated show, and I gotta say, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If we
can get there it is.
That Chex Marshmallow mix back, I would be all in. I would start eating cereal again because it was delicious.
Stopped eating cereal.
I have.
Actually, I will fight you on this because I think Spider-Man had a better cereal. And it even came with a little CD-ROM that had the Spider-Man cartoon maker on it.
That was awesome. It came with
hours.
a Packard Bell computer in the 90s.
Yeah, dude. Did Ninja Turtles have a cartoon, basically an MS Paint Ninja Turtles CD? No.
No, they don't. That's only Spider-Man.
That cartoon is amazing. And it's another tie to the podcast. We recently got to interview Renee Jacobs, and that was like a part of my childhood, like just fulfillment in life. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's still to this day, it is great. They made an animated movie a few years ago. I don't know if the Animaniacs have seen it or if Casey's seen it. It was called Turtles Forever, where they took, the Turtles that was out at the time, but they got caught in some kind of dimensional warp, and it brought the Turtles from the 90s into the universe, and it also brought the Turtles from the comic books into the universe, and it's great. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it, because the Turtles from the comic books hate everything about the other Turtles, and it's an hour of pure awesomeness. And yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it was awesome.
I got to meet Barry Gordon at the con, the voice of Donatello.
That's awesome.
Got a picture with him. He's super cool.
Yeah, that dude. Oh man, he plays freaking Razor from SWAT Cats.
Yeah.
I remember that debate. Nice. Scott's debating, like, do I get the picture? Do I pay? He's like, but he's there. He's the only one there that doesn't have a line. Scott's like, I know.
I was so upset. Donatello's my favorite, and everyone else had like a line, especially fucking Cam Clark and Rob Paulson. And Barry Gordon's just there with like one person.
And he was so gracious too. Like he was a really cool dude. Like that was a good experience.
Yeah, he was just like super friendly. And...
Was that our last live show, Chicago?
Might have been.
No, I think we had a visit after.
What a terrible experience that was, though.
That was the best part, because I was super tired. I had a headache. Max and I went and got a beer, and then I met Donatello, and like I just turned the whole thing around.
Yeah,
that's pretty strong.
Sure. It needed turning around. It definitely needed turning around.
Yeah, that was the night of no sleep. Anyway, Max, what is your number 3?
I have a weird tie for number 3. I didn't interrupt Scott because Batman the Animated Series is here, but also all that Casey had mentioned earlier, all that is here, and they're both here for weird reasons. Like Batman the Animated Series cemented my love of animation. Like I fell in love with Batman in this, but like I always want to see things animated, because like the movies are good, but I'm like, oh well, in the cartoon he does X, Y, and Z, and it didn't really sink in as it did with Batman the Animated Series, because you can do anything in a cartoon and it'll be believable. But like when you have the constrictions of actually making somebody do these things, like Batman in the freaking the first Tim Burton Michael Keaton Batman,
best one.
He can't turn his head. Okay, like
who cares? He doesn't need to.
He's supposed to be the greatest fighter of all time. But he can't turn his head. So then you have to dumb down the fighting so that he can do. He can still look like the greatest fighter and not turn his head. So it's so the Batman Animated Series, but then all that really did a thing for me for comedy, like with the sketch comedy and seeing multiple people playing a bunch of different characters all the time. Really put my foot in the door for what I enjoy about comedy, and then see comedians actually working real hard to okay, now I've got to get this going, and some people are starting from scratch, so I've got to make it funny for everyone, but and to see kids doing it was a really big thing for me. So
and I'm with you on the all that, because everyone talks Saturday Night Live. I obviously wasn't really allowed to watch it at that age, barely allowed to be awake at that time. So watching all that, exactly, it was a chance to see kids being hilarious and doing things that were funny, and learning about improv, they'd opened up my eyes to that whole stage presence as an option, as a medium. And they did it so well. They were funny. Yeah, that was the thing. They were enjoyable. It was a good show to watch. I mean, it's dated because the jokes are dated, because it's a kid's show. Of course, it's hilarious when you're a kid. It is not nearly as funny after you've watched Saturday Night Live or all these other stand-ups. So, but it's still it was an introduction to that era for me.
I've heard that Keenan and Kel are thinking about doing it again, and Keenan is doing big things. Like, he's been on SNL for 16 years.
He's on Saturday Night Live now. He fucking made it.
He graduated from high school to college.
Yeah,
he's the head writer. He's one of the head writers. He's one of the head guys there. He's one of the top dogs. So he's done a heck of a job.
Yeah,
it didn't make my list, but I watched a shit ton of all that growing up.
And then, fucking this spin-off of all that, like Kenan and Kel. Me and my friend Selwyn would watch Kenan and Kel, and I was like, when we'd be hanging out, like I would be the Kenan and he would be the Kel, and it was like a whole different thing. And then we had just a bunch of fun.
Orange soda galore.
Oh, dude, so much. Who loves it? Who loves orange soda? All that just started a bunch of things for me. But I'm gonna put that at number 3 with Batman the Animated Series. Watching for kids, those are like definitely transitional shows for me.
For sure.
Dan, what about you?
The Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
I was a kid.
Forgot about that.
I love that.
Run home from the bus stop just to catch the last 10 minutes of that show.
Hey, Paisanos.
And nobody can talk bad about Captain Lou, or we will fight.
No, never. Captain Lou Albano is a special human who lives among us.
Fucking love Captain.
Say some shit about Captain Lou and catch these hands.
But no. I mean, I've gone back and I've watched it on like Netflix recently, and it's not good, but I used to watch the crap out of that like every morning. Yeah. Like I used to watch that like religiously, like every morning. So
it's a great one.
That is a good one. I again every chance I got, I raced home from school just to catch the end of it because it was on at like the most obscure time. And yeah, no, good stuff, Dan. I love your picks, Dan. You're pulling from like just out of the box, and I love it.
Well, it's Dan. I mean, come on.
It's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
There it is.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh, I love this show.
Yeah.
Such a flashback all of a sudden.
People are like, how did they make the Mario Brothers movie? And then you look at this.
Yeah.
Well, this was great.
This
Mario Brothers
better,
movie.
honestly.
The Mario Brothers movie. They just went, oh, hey, there's a game about this. Let's forget that storyline. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, can we stop this, please?
Yeah, no. A little bit of that goes a long way.
Oh goodness, that's great.
Casey, what's your 2?
Okay, so my 2 is actually a weird little back and forth. I've been fighting it, and I can't figure out who to put it to, so I have to say them both. But for me, once again, this was as I was growing up, coming of age into more my teen years when I was choosing the shows. My shows I got to choose were Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Wow, together.
Those were 2 that equally I would run back and forth to make sure I was home in time for Fresh Prince because it came on after school, and Buffy was a late night show. So it was like my first choice for a late night show, and it really got me more into horror outside of what TNT's Monster Vision with Joe Bob Briggs did at the time. So those were like my big vehicles. So I loved Buffy because that was just the storyline was great. Watching these witty characters go back and forth and be the updated Scooby Gang was always fun. But Fresh Prince had that same allure for me because it was hilarious. It was the comedy show that I got to watch, that I got to really ingratiate myself with and see a completely different walk of life and try to understand a different perspective a little bit, which was very different from, a kid growing up in northwest corner of Connecticut. So,
well, as a kid who was like so into hip hop and rap, like I was obsessed with it from the age of 4. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is the first show I got into my parents' primetime lineup. Like, that was a big deal when you were a kid, at least in my house. If you could get a show during their lineup of primetime shows that they watch, and Fresh Prince was one of them. Both of my parents enjoyed watching it with me. And, Will Smith, he is not recognized for how good of a rapper he was back during the Fresh Prince days. And that show still holds up. And James Avery on that show,
yes,
some of the best acting on a television sitcom ever. And
bring it back to Ninja Turtles.
I love the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Buffy, I didn't get into until much, much, much later in life, but that's one of my favorites now. But
It was right around that same time, and you're right. James Avery just crushed it. He was phenomenal. The caliber of acting on that show was just out of this world. It was stellar. And Buffy was my introduction to what would eventually lead me to some of my other favorites, like Charmed and Dawson's Creek, other WB shows.
I mean, like Charmed.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, I was like, yay, until that came up.
It's weird because like Buffy's like the good stuff, you know, but like Charmed is like the shitty off-brand potato chip of
exactly.
Buffy the Vampire.
And look, man, I grew up poor, so I had those shitty off-brand, like the Wise potato chips, and things like that. Oh yeah,
I had an ex-girlfriend who fucking loved Charmed, and like I had to sit there and watch that bullshit, and I hate that fucking show.
Look, man.
Oh my God.
Look, it's so much fun because you've got to have your daytime television sort of. It's like my General Hospital.
I think
Charmed was for me.
I think Charm's one of those shows that if you watched it live, like you watched it while it was on, it really holds weight with you. But if you go back and try to revisit it, because I did, a few years ago with my ex-sister-in-law, but one of my best friends, her and I would sit down and she would try to get me into it. And I was like, sure, I'll check it out. I'm a huge fan of Buffy. Friday the 13th, the series, is actually a lot like Charmed. But, so I'm like, all right, I'll sit down. I'll check this out. I couldn't do it. And I think it's so just because I didn't grow up with it.
Oh, I completely get that. If you didn't watch it when it was live. Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. But VR Troopers was terrible too. Power Rangers was terrible. We still watch those. We can all recognize it. You know, it was.
And Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. I used to watch those with my buddy Amit. We loved Superhuman Cyber Squad. It's great. But no, man, I mean, that's a good
So that's why Buffy and Fresh Prince are right there for me, because they were both the ones that opened doors to a myriad of other shows that I love those still to this day. I can go back and watch Buffy and Fresh Prince any day of the week.
Yeah, those two hold up very well.
Fresh Prince is again, like, you know, for a show to, you know, be the only black kid around, you know, it's like there's like 7 other black people in my school when I was going to school. So like, Fresh Prince let me know, like it was one of those things that like I was like, okay, well, I see there's other people out there like me, and we're not alone.
Hold on,
so, like,
in elementary school there were 7 other black. I thought it was just you and your brother.
No, there was like no. In elementary school it was just me. No, CM. There's like 4 other black kids. But, in high school there was like 7.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. I had such a hard time when we went to high school getting them to play rap music at the band dances because it wasn't popular. That's all I listened to. Like kids today that, you know, they play hip hop and stuff at your dances. It wasn't as cool to play in white schools when I was growing up as a kid that 100% listened to hip hop.
It might have been as cool, but like it just like wasn't done. Like they wouldn't do that. Like they're like, play this hip hop. He's like, oh no, that's for thugs and gangsters. We can't play that.
Yep. Oh no, I was literally told that. I requested Wu-Tang all the time because I freaking love Wu-Tang.
Well,
it was for the children. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's rule number 1, and then number 2 is protect your neck.
Life lessons for the children.
Mm-hmm.
I fought barriers in my traditionally white school.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, man! Like the fact that I didn't listen to rock music just blew people's minds. Like I wasn't on the Creed train. Creed sucked to me when they came out. Creed still sucks to me.
Dude,
I'm sorry.
Hold on. I take offense with you saying rock and then Creed in like the same sentence.
I have since learned
that is not cool, sir.
You're telling me you wouldn't serenade your friends with "Take Me Higher" or something outrageous like that?
No, Wonderwall.
While you pretend you're Jesus.
I liked some rock, but I wasn't as into it as, you know, I was supposed to be. And
you know, it's weird though, because Jason was my rap friend. Like I personally was not into hip hop or in rap as much as Jason was. Like my parents are Jamaican. Like I grew up with a lot of reggae and a lot of different things like that, and calypso. So it was like yeah, if I wanted to hear rap music, I'd go hang out with that dude over there. But it's really weird because Jason he's definitely more, as far as like rap music is concerned, that dude is blacker than me. Like it is not any joke. Like Absolutely.
I was always completely locked into the lyricists. So Nas, Mobb Deep, anyone who was telling a story. I want a story. I have a real problem with people who are just repeating the same thing 500 times and it's about Cash Money Hoes.
Yeah.
That's not, like Crunk was not really my thing.
That's why I'm a huge fan of what Logic and Eminem and Joyner Lucas are doing right now, because they're trying their best to bring lyricism back to hip hop. And Logic right now, if nobody's ever heard Logic or listened to Logic, the dude is amazing.
I think a few people have heard of that.
But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We'll do that on Three Geeks Beats. It's another show Max and I are thinking about starting.
Geek Beats!
Geek Beats, whatever. But Scott, what is your number 2?
My number 2, easy choice, Star Trek Next Generation. I watched. It was always
actually. Hold on, I've got one more coming up. Let's save that for the next one.
All right.
Number 2, the Sutter Park Club that we had based on this show. This show came out. I hadn't heard of it. Max and Amit had to sell me on it, and of course, I got stuck being the blue guy because he was a nerdy kid with glasses. I was a nerdy kid with glasses.
Yeah, he couldn't throw a punch just like you.
Fair. I've only been in.
And don't feel bad about getting shoehorned into a role. Okay, like guess what I got stuck as every time. Okay.
That's true.
I don't know.
Awesome. That's Max.
That's true. When Max and I would play Lethal Weapon, he always had to be Murtaugh.
Why? Why can't I be Riggs? I'm gonna go off the handle. I'm tired of being too old for this shit.
You're too old for this shit to be too old.
We're the same damn age.
But no, obviously the show I'm talking about. And actually the only person I've ever thrown a punch on is ironically was then and is now one of my best friends, Tam, is the only person I've ever been in a fight with. In high school and middle school, whenever somebody would try to fight me, usually Max and Selwyn were right behind me. So as soon as I saw them, they usually backed away. But
when the 2 black kids in the school are your friends.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is my number 2. That show just had a huge impact on my life. I have since met most of the cast, and I still love that movie. I know the movie's CGI doesn't hold up.
I enjoy the movie. I enjoy it.
It's a fun movie.
When they made the new movie, I went into the new movie expecting shit, because remakes are not generally good, but the new movie was better than it had any business being. The new movie, the worst part of the new movie is when it got into the old Power Ranger stuff, but even then I liked it.
And the Pink Ranger, who was just a terrible person.
Yeah,
he does not deserve to be a ranger at all.
I never saw the new one.
When they get Bryan Cranston to be Zordon,
Bryan Cranston as Zordon was nuts. I did not see that coming.
But everyone else is just a good person in a bad situation, except for the Pink Ranger, who's has everything and is still just a terrible person, but managed to become a Power Ranger somehow.
The problem with the new movie is the first half is really good. It's really good. It's the Breakfast Club feel, and it's a really good movie. And the second half, the balance isn't quite there. But no, Power Rangers growing up, I loved it all. I watched it way longer than I should have. When Jason David Frank came back in the mid 2000s for Dino Thunder, I think is what it was called. I watched all 15 episodes of JDF as Tommy Oliver. Our first Three Geeks interview was Tommy or Jason David Frank. So there's a lot of stuff. We made Dan meet this guy. Dan has never seen an episode. Dan went back and watched Power Rangers because of our love for it.
I tried. Okay, I really tried, and it's awful.
They do a valiant effort because I loved the first maybe 4 seasons, and then they started to break up and become different things, and that's when I was done. I was out. Yeah, and it was just I was at that age where I was literally flipping to Buffy. That's what happened. It went from enjoying Power Rangers era stuff to Buffy and Charmed. So you can't say that you like terrible shit when I watch Charmed, because Power Rangers is terrible shit. Love it. Yeah. Love it. Appreciate it. But
I only watched the original the original cast, the original Power Rangers. I left this off my list because I knew for a fact that it would be on Jason's list. I did love the Power Rangers. I remember my mom bought me these Power Ranger gloves that would make a sound when you punched, and I ran them things out of batteries in a week and a half. It I was the Power Rangers fanatic.
We had a shit ton of Power Ranger toys growing up because this was close to making my list too. But it wasn't as like important to me. But I did watch a lot of it, and we had like all the little toys. You like flip their heads, and like their heads would flip into the helmet. We didn't have any like the big Megazords, but we definitely had like the action figures.
I have the Dragon Zord now. My grandfather used to take me. Toys R Us would put out their Power Ranger shipment every Sunday. So my grandfather would drive me up there at 7 a.m. We'd wait outside. I'd go in. I had them all. And I'm so upset with younger me for selling them when I got older because I would have the money right now and it would be amazing. Yeah. Same thing with my G.I. Joes. I'm upset that younger me sold
That's worse. Joes. That's worse.
It is worse. Yeah. But I went to saw the Power Rangers live at the convention center. I was really into the show, and I stopped watching it about the same time Casey and Max did. I watched through the Rocky and Aisha years, but once they started leaving, that's when I was out. I didn't watch Turbo. I watched a little bit of Power Rangers in Space just because my buddy Selwyn liked it because there's a character on the show named Selwyn. So
easy sell.
He finally got one on the third shittiest whatever of Power Rangers.
It was like right after
I can finally connect with. It is a name, I swear.
It's like the season after Jason David Frank left. But yeah, Power Rangers is my number 2. I've got some of the newer Power Rangers toys. I've got a Dragon Zord upstairs. So yeah, it's definitely my second favorite thing growing up. I absolutely loved it.
Did you ever watch the Power Rangers Ninja Turtles crossover episode?
Yes, I did. I have
when they were showing Power Ranger Turtles Next Mutation, which is an awful show, by the way.
Yes. That was during the space years, and I don't think I caught it when it was on, but when I found out about it recently or a few years back, I went through and watched it. It was awful.
It was a big deal for us because, like, I hated both the shows, but like just seeing them together, I was like, I have to watch it because I was
gotta see how much terrible can they cram in there.
Yes, this convergence of bullshit.
I was pretty checked out after the original show. Like, I never got into like space or Neo or Geo or
Ninja and all the other freaking whatever these damn kids do nowadays.
But when I found out they're having a crossover episode, I 100%.
That's one thing I like about the comic books these days. They've been crossing over, like they crossed over Power Rangers with the Justice League. That book was so much fun to read. They did the Ninja Turtles with Batman and made an animated film.
Was it Batman that got captured by the Pink Ranger? It's like Batman just got kidnapped by a pink dinosaur.
There's a pink dinosaur carrying the Batmobile with Batman in it. No, it was great. It was silly, cheesy fun. It was everything you'd want it to be. And then the Ninja Turtles with Batman. Like, I'm really digging
that. Was sick.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles Batman crossover.
The trailer and it looks good, but I never watched it.
The movie was okay. The comic book was better.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. They did 2 of them so far. Max, what's your 2?
Number 2 is some shows that Casey mentioned earlier. It's a combination Thundercats, Silverhawks, and a show called Centurions that nobody has ever watched.
Yes.
Thundercats.
Silverhawks was my jam, dude.
Dude, I fucking love Silverhawks.
Love Silverhawks.
Yeah, because and I thought they were cooler than the Thundercats because like I was very hipster about it because I was like, oh, you like Thundercats? Have you seen Silverhawks?
Exactly, because it was so much better. I mean, I had my Silverhawks pajamas.
Galactic Space Rangers, come on.
The toys were cool. I had a couple Silverhawks toys. Like
I still have Monstar that flips the head when you squeeze the arm.
Sick. Fucking awesome. But yeah, no, the Silverhawks were a great we can make money doing this animals people thing. Awesome, we're gonna do more of that. But it was in the highlight of like 80s cartoondom, 80s and early 90s, where it's like, let's make a cartoon about it and sell some toys. So all of them together, they're you can't rewatch them. But when I was a kid, I fucking loved all those.
Was Centurion the one with the gold guy who had the glowing chest piece, who was like a knockoff Iron Man almost?
No, Centurion was like three. It was 3 dudes, and one like they were like the deal
Army,
was,
Navy, Air Force.
Yeah, like they could call for
I have them all
to be beamed down to them.
Yeah,
from their space station.
Yep.
Yes.
I still have all three. I have all three toys right now, literally sitting in my
god!
bin. Yes. That's exactly what they are. I do have those.
They were so badass because like they would get like they'd be in whatever situation, so they'd call down for their equipment, and then it would like sometimes they would have to use this piece or that piece and all this different stuff, and it was I fucking love that cartoon, and nobody's ever watched it. So like those three together. Thundercats got me in, but then the other two were just like residual cartoons that I equally loved, but then nobody had ever actually watched.
I forget the name of the show, but the Gold Guy one.
Yeah,
that's
Captain.
That
Falcon.
was like a prince, and his brother was the evil fire guy, and they had to. I think.
Holy shit, you're
it's
right.
Like somewhere in a dark, dusty corner of my mind.
Dude, no, you polish that piece off because I need to know. It's been killing me. I still have the character,
Shit.
I have the toy, and I'm like, what are you? Like every day I have to ask as I walk by.
I feel like Centurions is something they could bring like forward, and it would actually kind of still work. And they never.
Yeah.
Nobody ever.
You're not talking about Galtar, are you?
No, it wasn't Galtar.
No,
I don't think so. That's not jogging anything. Did
That
not
was like a
anything.
Hanna-Barbera.
Oh, okay. Good old Hanna-Barbera, man. That was a great collection of cartoons.
Hanna-Barbera was the shit.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Well,
and not one of us mentioned him.
No.
Yeah, even though it was always on in probably all of our households at some point.
I almost went for a Scooby-Doo, but I figured somebody else would pick it, and there's been so many iterations. I'm gonna go with for number 2, The Real Ghostbusters.
Ooh,
that was on my
I used to watch the hell out of that.
Awesome.
I had that on my list, and I took it off because I had to be honest with myself. But it would be in my top 10. They recently reissued the action figures, and I went out and bought all 6 of them.
Yeah, because after we did the Animaniacs episode, I was like, no, these weren't as bad as those ones that we watched were. And we did get the shitty ones because I watched about a season and a half, and it was actually pretty good. So we may have to revisit that, Max.
Bullshit.
And Scott.
No way. We just picked all the crap episodes to try to sit through.
No, the one. Like, okay, now they have a rights problem, I think, with some of the episodes, and that's why you can't get the entire series in a box set. I think we got the shitty ones that are left out.
Oh, no, you don't have to think. Like, I know we got the shitty ones.
Yeah.
Did it say the cutting room floor on it by chance?
No, but yeah, because even Mike chided us on that one, and I was like, well, I'll go back and watch.
You gotta find the better episodes. You somehow got all the worst ones.
Yeah.
We
watched 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, and they were all bad.
It is unfortunate. Some things you just can't revisit. They just remember. It's like X's. They're better in our heads. Don't revisit. It's always dangerous.
No. Anyway,
all right.
You're first.
Oh, yeah. I guess we're on that now, eh?
Yeah.
Well, my number 1 is the one series that basically helped shape an entire fandom and love that I have solidly held on to in my tight grip for my entire life, the Star Trek The Next Generation. It was the show that I always got to watch. It was the one primetime show that, without fail, I was allowed to have. I was allowed to watch it with dinner right after Love Connection. So I was a big fan. I loved Star Trek Next Gen. That entire crew and cast just opened the doors to the rest of Star Trek for me, and I've never looked back. I think Picard was basically like my ad hoc father. So it was all the lessons I didn't get from Grandpa, I got from Picard.
Well, Love Connection is my number 1, obviously, because that's fantastic. I'm just kidding.
Could it not be? Chuck Woolery, man, back in 2.
No, man, Next Generation is great.
I honestly wouldn't doubt it.
Well, Scott, I know you had also said Next Gen was your number 2.
Yeah, Next Gen was my number 2. This kind of harks back to what Max was saying. There's more Star Trek I don't like than Star Trek that I do like. But Next Gen is like, I like 99% of it. Like, there's definitely some duds in the 7-season run. And it was a lot easier for me to get into than like TOS, because TOS is like was already pretty dated by the time I was growing up. So, which is it's still fine. I still enjoy watching TOS. You know, I can watch it. But Next Gen was just a lot more accessible to me as a kid growing up, and there were always like reruns on, so I'd always just like be watching reruns with my dad because he was super into it, and like so I was like, oh, what's this? And yeah.
Yeah, and those storylines they did were really nice because that was a lot more 2-parters. So they had that was the first time you're getting a lot of those, but it wasn't as much as Deep Space Nine, which you would get lost in if you missed an episode. So DS9 only really came back to be incredible once you could sit down and watch all of them. Whereas Next Gen, you could just hop in the middle of and you're good to go.
Yeah, there are like arcs in Next Gen that you can follow throughout the series, but it's not as much as DS9, where it's like kind of one continuous story, more or less, over the entire run of the show. Next Gen is just kind of, you can just pick an episode out anywhere and be like, I'm going to watch, Darmok or whatever.
Yeah, and exactly. And there's the cool thing is with that crew, there's not a weak actor or character in the entirety of the crew. Even with Yar, Denise Crosby didn't last, but she was great when she was on the show. She's one of the highlights of season 1, actually, honestly.
When LeVar Burton graces you with his presence, that's
love LeVar, man. Well, that was my thing. Is I actually grew up always wanting to be, and I've said this even to this day, I always want to be a great Geordie. I don't want to be a leader. I don't even want to be second in command. You give me a small department division that you want me to be expert of, I'm your guy. Yeah.
I mean, like, it's weird that I never dug. I could not get into Star Trek, but like I got it. Like Reading Rainbow was something that I was down for, and so like I've always had a respect for for Star Trek because I was like, all right, if Reading Rainbow's on your show, I can't say too much shit about it because that dude's legit. Like he knows what he's talking about. So. But yeah, no,
and that's his name too, Reading Rainbow.
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
That's what I called him.
It's like Cody from Step by Step. That's his name, Reading Rainbow.
Lieutenant Commander Reading Rainbow.
I mean, does everyone forget that he did Roots now too?
That he did what?
Oh yeah,
he did Roots.
Roots.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched Star Trek and then we watched Roots in grade school, and I was like, I can get into this because Geordie's right there.
Exact same. Yes, that's how I got into Roots. I was like, wait a minute, Geordie's in this.
Geordie, why?
They took Geordie's foot.
What are they doing to Geordie?
Because that's the thing. They switched the actor because they fast forwarded, and I like lost all the interest. I'm like, well, Geordie's not here.
Yeah, what? So Jim Brown.
Raise your hand if you're black and you've never seen Roots.
All right.
Now
I refuse to watch it. I'm sorry. I was like, okay, slavery sucked. I get it. I'm not gonna watch this fucking movie. There's no way.
You get the gist, huh?
Yeah. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I don't need to watch this here. Oh my god, I refuse to watch Roots.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything bad against like Roots. I'm sure is great.
Before we get to Scott's number one, is everybody good to run over about 30 minutes?
Yeah,
I'm fine.
Okay, Scott, what's your number one?
All right, number one. I mentioned it earlier when I was thinking like, what's like the one cartoon that like really just defined my childhood, or even just show like the one thing that I like built a lot of my identity on early on, and that was Dexter's Lab. Awesome. Like
Gendy!
It's a Gendy pick. Like it was hard not to have a Gendy pick as my number one. But like, I don't know, Dexter's Lab just. I was so into that show growing up because, like, I don't know, he's especially for me because I was like real short, like still am, but like I always got made fun of for being like the short nerdy kid. So then the show comes along and I could just like instantly connect with like the main character. I was like, yeah, no. And plus it's just that game quality.
You have that hidden laboratory in your room too, so that's that actually.
I grew up like, man, I wish I could just push a button in the bathroom and the shower spins and I'm in my lab or something like that. Like, I wanted a lab so bad.
Well, he had the coolest stuff. I had a younger sister, so I had a different kind of Dee going on, ruining my foiling my plots.
Dexter's Lab is a shit. I fucking love Dexter's Lab.
Yeah, not so much the revival.
Right.
When they like brought it back. That was pretty bad, but I don't think Gendy was involved in that.
Yeah, that wasn't Gendy, so it's like it absolutely makes sense why it wouldn't be as good.
That was the Powerpuff Girls guy. I'm pretty sure headed that up, and it really shows.
Yeah,
it was very similar to Powerpuff. Although I did like Powerpuff, but you're right, it doesn't hold a candle to Dexter. So still,
yeah, it's definitely the same. Powerpuff Girls is like, yeah, I enjoy that cartoon too, but no, it's it.
But when you try to do the same thing, it doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Not as good as the original. I fucking love Dexter's Lab. It is so good. There's so many, and it's like it's weird how many like good like filmmaking things are in there. You know, it's like the dude just. I love Gendy. Period. I don't got anything else to say.
And it's still very rewatchable. Like
yes, absolutely.
Like, the jokes aren't like dated. Like, you know, they're not all just like references to things that you wouldn't understand. Like there's a few of them for sure. But like the jokes still are like really funny and just, really hold up. So
like the mom and the dad being completely oblivious people and just, like the one where like the mom is like loses her gloves.
And it's like a Psycho like basically ripoff or homage or whatever.
Yes. Oh my god. I love it. I love Dexter's Lab.
After this round of number ones, we'll go through each person again, and we'll have them give like two maybe honorable mentions that nobody's brought up yet so far. But my number one, and there's no other show that would be my number one. I would wake up at 6 a.m. to watch this until it was time to go to school. It is Garfield and Friends. I love Garfield and Friends. I still love Garfield. I hated the Bill Murray movie because I'm such a purist with the animated film or show, and the shorts. The Halloween special scared the piss out of me when I was 7 or 8 years old. And I love Garfield. I love Odie. I love Garfield. I love John Arbuckle. Normal, everything.
Yeah.
And even the weird shorts in the middle where they were on the farm that nobody really understood.
The cows and the pigs and the sheep. Oh.
Yeah.
The farm was the best.
I loved
Happy
it all.
Acres? What was it called?
Happy. Happy.
Is it Happy Acres?
No, it's not
Yeah,
Happy Acres.
I think
it's
no.
something like that. Something Acres. But oh my god, no.
Hold on.
That crazy fucking duck.
Yeah, the duck was nuts. What was his name? Quacky?
I don't even remember.
And then the clown. Remember the clown?
Yes.
Oh, he freaked me out, man. He was like the enemy. Was the clown? Oh,
I loved this cartoon. It's so much. Like I can't even express to you guys how much I love this cartoon. I want to get it all on DVD at some point because I don't think it's streaming anywhere. I've tried to watch other incarnations of this, and it doesn't pack the same punch. I love the comic books. I've got almost a whole series of the Garfield and Friends books or Garfield books. I love Garfield. I used to read in the newspaper. It's the only thing I ever read in the newspaper that wasn't movie listings. If anybody knows me, they know that I love movies, and that's right. But Garfield and Friends was my favorite thing ever growing up.
It's called U.S. Acres.
U.S. Acres.
And Bill Watterson once called it an abomination.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can't remember the name of it.
I forgot about the egg with the legs.
Yes. And like, remember like the one time he hatched and he was still an egg?
I do. Good stuff.
yeah,
Max,
that Halloween special was absolutely the best. Still have to rewatch that every year.
Still scares me. It's like It for Max. Like this is my It. Like I watch this and I have to hide.
The same, man. That's why I never like dressing up as pirates. People are like, "Let's go as pirates." I'm like, "No, pirates fuck you up, man."
I'm good. We don't need to do that.
Ghost pirates, get out of here.
Max, what is your number one?
All right, so somebody had mentioned it, but Looney Tunes and Hanna-Barbera cartoons, like the old Quick Draw McGraw, but like obviously like Bugs Bunny, Tasmanian Devil, like all those guys. But all those old Hanna-Barbera cartoons. There's like the superhero one where there's like a gas guy, the like invisible chick and something else. Like there's a bunch of random generic Hanna-Barbera cartoons that like just filled up the fucking day on Cartoon Network. Like all that shit. But Looney Tunes introduced me to classical music. Like you don't realize that Looney Tunes like they use a lot of like real shit. Like it's amazing what they introduced you to, and so like I just love all those cartoons.
Well, I mean, those Looney Tunes did a great job of really introducing us to the Civil War. It was between some crazy group that wore gray and had mustaches and shooted guns at everything, versus the upright Northern bunnies.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's like a lot of things though, like, and then, like what gets me, what I love the most is like the hyper fucking racist Looney Tunes. Like if you watch like the anti-Japanese Looney Tunes, like if you can ever see them, they're terrible. They're fucking terrible. Yeah. But it's like wow, this made it on television. Fucking
Mel Blanc, man, the man committed. He committed.
But no, like there's just a bunch of great fucking talent. Like the voice actors are all amazing. And I love Looney Tunes. It's one of those things where I realized that I like cartoons more than I like live action because you can just do anything in a cartoon and get away with it versus like when you see someone trying to do something live action and they have to, like Space Jam. It's like, oh man, the Looney Tunes are with live action, but again, like it's still limited by the fucking live action people there. So Looney Tunes and the Hanna-Barbera cartoons are my number one, just because like that was most of the shit like where our parents were like, "Shut up, go put the TV on."
Oh, absolutely, yep. Yogi or any one of them are on, or remember that weird chase where everybody was chasing each other, the big race that they always had.
The wacky races! Oh my god, yes, fucking like
with Dastardly Dan,
Dastardly and Muttley, yes,
Muttley,
yes. And then
Huckleberry Hound, dude.
Muttley would always fuck shit up for Dick Dastardly. He was like.
The Bugs Bunny Roadrunner movie was one of my favorite movies growing up. I love that.
Fuck yeah, dude! Like, there's the Looney Tunes for everyone, and like they even like I like there's a Looney Tunes show on Cartoon Network where like Bugs and Daffy were roommates, and like I really enjoyed that show. I thought it was very well done, and again, it's like just bringing the shit forward. There's a lot of Looney Tunes for anybody. Like,
Tiny Toons. Tiny Toons song. That was a great one.
Dude.
We wouldn't have Batman the animated series without Tiny Toons.
Fucking Tiny Toons.
Oh yeah.
I love the movie, the Summer Vacation, the Tiny Toons movie. It was so good.
Yes.
Gosh, those are classic.
So are their video games. The NES games for Tiny Toons
I definitely played that.
Some of the best for the system.
Fucking all good shit. Looney Tunes. That's what's up.
Shout out to Animaniacs also. Dan, what is your number one?
Yeah. All right, this is going to take a little bit of a preamble. So,
here we go.
Oh God.
When I was really little, okay, I used to get up really early because it was on at like, I think, yes, it's in the before times. It was on at like 6:30 or 7 in the morning on Saturday. And it blew my mind because I felt like I was watching something for like older kids, or like grown-ups. I would watch Robotech.
Yes.
And I freaking love that show because like I never knew that anybody could die in a cartoon. Here I am. I'm like 7 years old and I'm like, holy shit. They just killed Roy.
It's fucking weird. Like when you watch anime, like even like Naruto, like people are getting murked. Yeah. And it's like, wow, this is for kids? Yeah, absolutely. Like the Robotech for sure.
I always mixed up Robotech and Gundam Wing, and as I tried to keep watching Gundam, I was like, I don't like any of these. What's the one I'm looking for? And then I stumbled back onto Robotech, and it was like, this is the shit. After all these years, it was like a 15-year search.
If you say that to like an anime fan though, they're gonna like roll their eyes at you because you're supposed to like Macross. You're not supposed to like Robotech. Okay,
I'm not. I know. I realize that my nerdom has been severed in that department. So
yeah,
I'm a fan of Mobile Suit Gundam Wing because of Toonami, but Robotech obviously.
I like all the Gundams honestly, except for the stupid fighting one. I don't like that one. But what's that?
No fighting. Never been
bad Gundam shows.
Oh no, there's the one where they have like the fighting tournament thing, and it's like a boxing match with Gundams. That's fucking dumb. But the rest are okay.
Bull Shield Gundam or something like that. It was dumb shit. But yeah, no, Robotech is shit. I'm
strong with Robotech. Yeah,
it's kind of aged. Like I don't know if it like the animation holds up.
Oh yeah, it kind of does. Like I've got the Super Duper collection box that they made, and it kind of holds up. But I mean, it's not the greatest now.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's still solid though. Solid story, like, and especially if you're 7, like that is a bit young to be watching.
Yeah.
There was some passionate kissing on there.
I mean, like again, like you're learning things ahead of schedule on that
one. But it's a cartoon. I mean,
it's totally fine. I'm sure it'll be fine.
All cartoons are for kids. I definitely would like to rewatch Robotech. I remember watching it on it was like on Toonami or Cartoon Network or something.
All right, let's.
I was like, this
I
is
think it was on the later night Toonami.
Maybe
it wasn't on the daytime.
I remember watching it as a kid.
It might have been.
Like, it was kind of weird.
Casey, give us a couple honorable mentions, 2 that you really wanted to fit in that we haven't talked about yet.
One that we briefly mentioned it, but it's one that circles back because it was one of the tops, was Home Improvement. And the more we've kind of had our discussion throughout this, it's kind of come to the forefront that maybe that was a bigger show for me than I realized. So that is definitely one up there. The other one was actually a weird one. It was as I was kind of growing into and what was happening at that time was Friends.
Yeah,
Friends was a big one that I didn't mention either, and it definitely was a tough one to keep out of the top 5 because it was such a big deal. Everyone in my family watched it. I have 2 families, so from divorced parents, so it's just everybody watched it. It was one of the few things that every household I could agree with, and we could always watch was Friends. And Roseanne deserves that love too.
Yes,
John Goodman. I was gonna put Friends on my list, but I stuck to before middle school. Mm-hmm. If I had gotten a little bit older, I would have, because me and my friend Evan would watch Friends in middle school, and it was great.
Yeah, so those are some big ones.
Scott, 2?
Actually, those were 2 of mine. It was Home Improvement and Roseanne were shows that I watched a lot as a kid. Especially
I never got Roseanne.
My fiance's been rewatching it, and it's been interesting to rewatch some of it.
This is a controversial statement. I think The Conners is a better show, but go ahead, Scott.
We'll see when I get there. But besides those 2, another one that almost made the list just because I watched it so much on Toonami was Dragon Ball Z. That was my very first intro to anime, and I don't like that show, but I watched a lot of it just because it was so new and different at the time. And I remember every day after school, I think it was 4:00, we would come home and watch it.
Okay, Dragon Ball Z, I was going to mention it, you mentioned it. That show, it was the first time I've ever been frustrated with a show. I'm like, okay, it's going to happen. This is the episode that's going to happen. This is the episode that's next time on Dragon Ball. Fuck!
Yeah. I think the worst is when that would happen and you're like, well, for sure it's going to be the next episode, then it still wouldn't be the next episode.
Yes.
5 episodes later, they finally meet.
Waiting for Goku to fucking get to wherever and fight Frieza.
Oh my god, it's so.
When it was on like a weekly basis, it felt so much longer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like you can just binge all of it now. But
I've never not ever been as frustrated with the show as I have been with Dragon Ball Z. And then like you're like, I'm done. I'm fucking done. I'm not gonna watch it. Like this is bullshit. And then like next week you find yourself there like, okay, it's gonna happen. He's finally gonna do something. No.
He's finally gonna fight Cell. No, he's not. He's never gonna fight Cell.
We're gonna talk some more. We'll go train some more.
Yeah. Great. Let's see what Bulma's doing. No one gives a crap about Bulma.
Yeah.
So, to all the children that shouldn't be watching us, that might be watching us, have you ever gone to the store on Easter and picked up the food coloring kits with the little characters on the box and wondered where those characters came from? Well, Scott had mentioned he was 4 years old recording shows with the VCR. When I was 3, I loved this so much that I taught myself how to record on a VCR. And this is Peter and the Magic Egg. I believe that's what it's called. And I have searched for this since my childhood. You can only find them on the Pez boxes now. Like, this movie is almost impossible to find. But I just remember loving it so much that I rented it from Blockbuster, but eventually it just disappeared. Like, I couldn't find it anywhere. So there it is, Peter and the Magic Egg. And then also Inspector Gadget. That's another one I would rent.
Ooh, good one.
Okay.
Good one.
All right.
Don Adams is... Nice. Don Adams is probably one of the most underrated comedic actors ever, and especially in Inspector Gadget and Get Smart.
Casey, was that you? I thought Jason pulled up the soundbite. That was good.
You Gadget.
That was really good. I have a T-shirt of what's his name, Claw.
Yeah, Claw. Yeah.
But he's playing Minecraft on the computer. Like his hair's gonna have turned, and you can see he's playing Minecraft.
That's awesome. I always love that too. That all Claw ever was a shoulder to an arm. That was it.
Yeah.
Just petting a cat.
Oh man, good shit. Oh my god, Inspector Gadget. The movie was terrible though.
Oh, I never saw it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm a purist. I did the new one that they had on Netflix recently, the animated one. That one was okay. I didn't mind that one, but all
I
of
didn't
the
watch
other...
the animated one, but no Matthew Broderick.
Yeah,
No.
live, again, if you take a cartoon, try to make it live action, there's a lot of things you can't do, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, but the Netflix reboot of Inspector Gadget was pretty good.
The Canadian Fist of the North Star was perfect, Max. Come on.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
Gilligan's Island would be also on my list. Max, what's your 2?
I don't know. I'm hard pressed to think of a different TV show off the top of my head. Like everything got mentioned here.
Animaniacs.
Animaniacs. We didn't officially say Tiny Toons, but those obviously were fucking just amazing. Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like a lot of this stuff got mentioned. I'm trying to like rack my brain to find something that we
definitely dug deep, man. I feel like we used a lot of brain power on a lot of this. I'm amazed by some of the things that came back. Like Centurion, are you kidding me?
Oh my god, I'm just glad you know what it is. Like, I'm finally glad to find something.
I'm going to send you the pictures of the actual. I literally have them. I will send you pictures of all the action figures I have.
Oh my god,
I know a show that Max
SWAT Cats. SWAT Cats was another one that I loved as a kid. We mentioned it a little bit, but I fucking dug that show. Like, I was down. I wanted. It made me want to be a pilot. Like that's one of those shows where it's like, okay, I'm gonna fucking do that. Like,
well, I mean, that's why I watched Eek the Cat, because I figured I could just be a freeloader who just traveled around the city. But
what about like Doug or Rocco's Modern Life?
Great one. There you go.
All cartoons. I definitely watched more.
All Real Monsters. If anyone ever watched
that. Shit! Fuck yeah, dude! Fuck yeah!
I never got as into like that. That and like Rocket Power were like a little bit later.
Rocket Power. I dug Rocket Power too.
I know.
I would watch them, but I wasn't like as into them.
Yeah. All right. So what are you leading to, Jason?
Max and Amit used to love Ronin Warriors.
Oh, love Ronin Warriors.
Fuck yes!
Ronin Warriors was the first. That was the first anime I ever finally watched all the way through. It was the only one. I loved it so much. Had to wake up at like 4 a.m. on Sunday to watch it because it was crazy hour.
He's one Ronin Warriors fan too. No, fuck yes, I completely forgot about that. Oh my god, for sure.
Nobody's mentioned the Disney afternoon cartoons either.
Tailspin was great.
Tailspin.
Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing Duck was amazing.
DuckTales, Goof Troop.
Darkwing Duck and Goof Troop were probably my favorite out of the Disney.
Yeah, mine were definitely Tailspin and Darkwing Duck. Love
that. DuckTales movie is amazing.
I'll have to watch it.
Yes.
Watch the Mighty Ducks on Disney.
Genie one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Genie one. Yeah. Gene's his human name. Dan, what are some honorable mentions from you? We just named like 20.
Thanks, JT.
Dan with the wrap up. Go ahead, pick some.
I would say Star Trek: The Original Series, which we didn't really cover that much, and because I remember watching that like after dinner, like syndicated every night, and I'd have to say like Scooby-Doo, the old Vincent Price one, like the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. I think that's
with
my
the Harlem
favorite
Globetrotters. Those are great.
Yeah, no, that's the Scooby-Doo meets the other people, like.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, when they did the meets or with or whatever they were. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because some of those were cool and some of those really sucked.
Oh yeah,
because the Batman one was okay. The Harlem Globetrotters was all right. Yeah,
Batman was fun.
And
the Danny Kaye one was fun.
I also have a mystery.
Not Danny Kaye.
Because long ago,
about
the same time as about the same time as I was watching Robotech. One of the major networks put on it was an anime looking thing, and it was supposed to be Dragon Warrior, but I've never been able to find it. So if anybody has any leads, let me know.
Hey, if I manage to figure out Centurion today, anything is possible, man.
There you go.
Oh my god!
Yeah, because
we gotta find Centurions and watch it together.
Man,
we're gonna do a Centurion.
So in.
It's not the one based off Dragon Quest, is it?
It might have been. I'm not sure because I only remember them airing like maybe 4 or 5 episodes in a loop, and then it was gone. But they never actually completed the arc. I remember that.
So
that's
John,
what's bugged me for 40 years.
John would be very upset if we did not mention Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling animated show from the 80s.
Yes.
Never got it. I know of it, but
it is not good, but it was watched.
It's really not good.
It was right up there with Mr. T, whatever his little TV show was. They were all the same.
Yeah, and it's cereal.
Yep.
I remember
Love this cereal, man.
All right, everybody, we went long today, and I apologize, but the conversation was just too good. Talking childhood stuff is always a lot of fun. Casey, real quick, where can everybody find you online?
Well, I'd like to thank you all for having me on. You can follow me at Twedeye Night on the Twitters or at Plotamus21 on the Instas. I don't know what those mean, but I was told to say that. So check us out on the Scene Snobs. You can find me there on the Scene Snobs podcast every Tuesday night live at 9 p.m.
Yeah, Casey, you've got a spot on our show anytime you want to be on. Max and you seem to have this nice little bromance going. And
absolutely. It's more than little, thank you.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Check out the Geeks Podcast. You guys can find us at 3geeks.ninja. You can find us on all podcasting platforms. You can also find us on thescenesnobs.com. So many cool things coming from our channel, and I can't wait to share them all with you. And from all of us at the 3 Geeks Podcast, as I slowly scroll down to the closing credits, I hope you guys have a great day.
Recycle your droids. I'm gonna talk over this too. Fucking Dan's shit hits harder like every day. Every time I listen to it, I love this shit more.
Thank you very much.
You're fucking welcome. Original music by fucking Dan. That's not just the fucking Rockabella Vodka talking neither.
I need to try something.